Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Haar Disciples Baseball. My name is Tim Collins. Joined on the microphone today by Alex Tufts, the former head coach of the Haar Disciples. And we are going to witness a baseball game between the Guggenberger Legionäre Regensburg and the München-Haar Disciples. Today is April the 16th, Sunday, 1 p.m. It was forecast for basically just pure terror, like rain and darkness and general German spring, but actually it's dry and it is not windy, so that means it is more pleasant than it was last weekend, even though the temperature was higher and the sun was out. So we are ready for the ball game. The meeting at home plate is taking place. Once again, this is Tim Collins, joined again by Alex Tufts. Alex, how are you doing today?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Glad to be here with you, Tim. Got the nerves out of the way last week, so I'm ready to put on a good show here.
Yeah, and both of these teams put on a very good show. On Friday night, it was a nail-biter as Regensburg led 1-0 all the way till the ninth inning with 2 outs, I believe, when Joe Rosenthal got a 2-run single to give the Disciples the lead. And then in the bottom of the ninth inning, Regensburg rallied and scored 2 for themselves. Regensburg coming in, they are undefeated. Only 3 games, though, as there's been a lot of rainy weather in the Bundesliga, not just to the south, but all over Germany.
Yeah, and that bye week, with an uneven number of teams, there's always one team each week that doesn't play.
Right.
Heartbreaking loss for the Disciples on Friday night. They were so close to getting the first win of the year. Let's see if that motivates them to come back today strong and get one in the win column. And
they, yes, as you mentioned, they are still looking for their first win, 0 for 5. But really, out of those 5 losses, the only real clunker was the game in Heidenheim. Yeah. Everything else has been relatively close, and they've played much better of late. And, also, if you look at Regensburg's record, they had to go down to the wire in 2 out of their 3 victories. They very narrowly defeated Hünstetten. I think it was a 9-8 walk-off. In extra innings, I believe that was last weekend. So, the Hünstetten Storm have played everyone tough so far in their first season in the Bundesliga. Yeah. And even though the Disciples are one of the 2 teams without a win, Mannheim the other, that doesn't mean they've been playing terrible baseball. Yeah. And so we should see a good ball game today as the Disciples are taking the field.
I think it's going to be really interesting if Hünstetten continues to compete like they have. Never easy coming up into the first league. Makes for a really interesting first league, having all games competitive, all exciting games. Any team being able to win on any given day makes for a much better fan experience and a coaching experience too, I think.
Yeah.
And playing as well, of course.
Exactly.
Can't forget about players.
It's just good for baseball all around. Yeah. And so the right-hander from Texas, Steve Norell, is going to take the mound. This will be his 3rd start for the Disciples. He pitched very well last weekend, really just 1 bad inning. And other than that, he was extremely dominant against the Heideköpfe. Overall in 10 innings, 12 strikeouts, 1 walk, which is a good sign, 14 hits, 8 earned runs. And he will face a lineup that begins with the shortstop Alex Schmidt, the designated hitter Devin Ramirez-Beaver bats second. Daniel Patrice, one of several former Haar Disciples on the field today for the Legionäre. He's playing first base and batting third. Ronnie Sweeney is playing third base and batting fourth. Matt Vance, in his 15th season with the Legionäre, batting fifth. He's playing second base. David Grimes is playing left field. He's batting sixth. Eric Harms playing right field. He's batting seventh. Elias von Garson, the catcher, batting eighth. David Dinsky, another former Haar Disciple, also previously a former Legionnaire, so he switched back to the Legionnaire after starting his career with them. He's batting ninth and playing center field. On the mound and pitching for the Legionnaire, also a former Haar Disciple, Czech national team player, recently off the WBC, Jan Tomek. So it's going to be Tomek versus Steven Norell.
Both teams are really still trying to figure out their lineup here early on in the season. Interesting lineup from both sides. Coach Martin Helmig from Regensburg has shuffled things around. We saw Patrice down in the 7-hole. Now he's up in the 3-hole. It's been pretty consistent at the top with Schmidt leading off, but a really deep lineup down there. Dinsky, excellent hitter in the 9-hole, all the way up. Von Garson, Harms, Grimes, very strong bottom of the lineup. Steven Norell's really got to take care of that bottom.
And he has thrown his final warm-up pitch, so that means Alex Schmidt getting ready to step up to the plate. It was Schmidt who scored the winning run on Friday night, and he comes in national team shortstop. He's got 2 hits in 7 at-bats. This is not including Friday night, by the way, as the stats for whatever reason, never update until the end of the 2-game series. So those are the general stats we'll give you. But he's a right-hand hitter, gets the ball in play, has power at all fields, runs well, very good player.
Very good base runner. Excellent base runner.
And the first pitch, that is right on the corner, called strike one. We are underway at about 6 minutes past 1. Home plate umpire is Patrick Meister. Here comes the 0-1. That's right through there. 0-2. Good velocity on that pitch, looked like.
Yeah, Norell's a sinker ball guy. Looking for him to keep the ball down in the zone, get a lot of ground balls. See if the Regensburg guys are hitting the top of it or able to lift it to the outfield.
Outfield is shaded slightly towards the right, but mostly straight away, as is the infield. Breaking ball, that's outside. 1-2. The first base umpire, Thomas Schlögl. This is his first ever game in the Bundesliga. And down the third baseline, Alex Hartl. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Alex Schmidt leading off the game. Running the fastball in on the hands, and a check swing for ball 2. Hit sharply off the foot of Norell. He picks it up and shovels it to Olich at first, and that's a loud out number 1, but it's out number 1 nonetheless. The ball was hit solidly off the barrel by Schmidt, and they're immediately going to check on Steve Norell.
Yeah, a little bit of deja vu happened last weekend, or last Monday, I guess, against Heidenheim. Norell took one off the leg or foot, lower body, but it seems to be all right. Always a little bit of a tense moment as a coach when your pitcher, especially an import pitcher, gets hit by a comebacker.
Yep, and Ryan Saunders and Ryan Bollinger out there to have a quick check on Norell, and he says he's fine, so back to work. And now Devin Ramirez Beaver steps up to the plate, and he looks at a strike. Norell threw a lot of strikes last weekend, and he looks like he has really good command of the strike zone early in this game. Only 6 pitches in.
Yeah, he's been impressive so far. Like you said, a hard luck loss last Monday against Heidenheim. That one inning where Heidenheim was able to grind out some base hits and some walks and some stolen bases.
Big swing, fouled back to the screen. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Norell likes to work quickly, too.
Yeah, he's got that college mentality, that pitch clock
right
in play there as well, so I think it's great.
1-2 on Ramirez Beaver. Breaking ball, popped up off the end of the bat. Nate Sean Thomas onto the outfield. Grasped, one-hands it for out number 2. Ich habe auch kurz in die Chat geschaut. Und falls jemand irgendwas auf Deutsch erklärt haben will, einfach Bescheid sagen. Ich mache mein bestes Versuch. Aber die Hauptsache, die Hauptübertragung wird heute auf Englisch. Weil das ist weniger peinlich für die Deutschsprecher im Zuschauer.
Für beide.
Daniel Patrice steps up to the plate, former Heart disciple. He knows this ballpark through and through. He's hit a ball to just about every spot in it in his career, and he takes a breaking ball down and away. 1 ball, no strikes.
Yeah, a little homecoming for Daniel Patrice. Grew up in and around Haar and was a member of the club for a long number of years. So
also played in France a little bit.
Yep. Played college baseball in the United States.
Yep.
Also.
Good player. Power from line to line. 2-0. Fastball is a ball. I guess it was high. 3-0. And that one catches the knees in the inside corner. That was not a gimme on 3-0 for Patrice. That's fouled, and now Norell has come back to make it a full count, 3-2. Schöne Grüße, Heldgard, Ralph, and Mad Max, the usual suspects in the YouTube chat. Schön euch zu sehen. Herzlich willkommen, Steve Berger auch. Full count. 2 down. Top of the first. Just getting started here in Haar. The pitch that is up high, and Patrice is aboard with a walk. take a look at what this pitch was. Looked like a little, did not look like his hard fastball. That was okay, a slider.
Cutter or slider, yeah.
Yeah, something up.
Yeah, it looked like you overthrew it a little bit there. But see if you can come back and get Sweeney here.
Yeah, Ronnie Sweeney, left-hand hitter. Attended University of Minnesota, if I have that correct. He has a home run this year. Pitch is taken for a ball. Sweeney, 24 years of age. University of Minnesota, as well as Iowa Western Community College. So he's a former pro in the U.S., also played some indie ball. There's the 1-0. It's outside. 2-0. So Schmidt with the ground out to start the game. Ramirez Beaver popped out. And then Norell fell behind. Patrice eventually walked him. Now he's behind 2-0 and a check on Daniel as he makes it back wearing the high socks. 2 down. Patrice on first base. Being held on by Olich. And the pitch. That's a strike on the outside corner, 2-1. Looks like so far they're staying away from Sweeney.
Yeah, that low lefty pitch always seems to hurt pitchers. So yeah, they're staying away.
He's got a slightly open stance, standing up on the plate, and that one is down. 3 balls and 1 strike now. And the crowd's starting to file into the park.
Yeah.
3-1. Strike 2 as Sweeney trying to buy a 4th ball. Started towards first base. So now that'll set Patrice free with a full count and 2 outs, but he will continue to be held on by Olich. And the pitch. Outside and high for ball 4, so a couple of 2-out walks. And Norell thought maybe he was going to catch the corner on that one. A little bit outside. And so the next batter is Matt Vance. I mentioned before, Vance, this is his 15th season. And, you know, Alex, I was thinking about it. You know when the last time Regensburg won the championship was?
I don't know off the top of my head, no.
2013.
Wow,
and
really?
It seems, it doesn't seem like it was 10 years ago, but it was. They're always one of the top teams, always, you know, fighting for that top spot. They're always in it, but it's been that long since they won it. And Matt Vance is the only guy on this roster that was there at that time.
Crazy.
Swings and misses at the first one, 0-1. The worm turns very quickly sometimes in the Bundesliga. There's the 0-1. Breaking ball is high, 1-1. At that time, 2013, that was Regensburg's 5th consecutive championship.
Okay, yeah, it was a dynasty.
If I remember correctly. Yeah. And then Solingen won, then Heidenheim, then Solingen, then Heidenheim, then Mainz, then Heidenheim, Bonn, and then Heidenheim a couple times in a row. And that's last year Bonn. And Regensburg was knocked out last year by Paderborn in the semifinal. Ben Taki throwing that Greg Maddux style complete game. There's a swing and a miss. 1-2.
It's good news for Stephen Norell and the Disciples if Matt Vance is swinging over that sinker. Means he's getting it down in the zone, and there's some heavy downward movement on that. It's going to translate into some ground balls for him today.
1 ball and 2 strikes. And that's down and away. And actually, Eric Harms, I guess, was also on the team back in 2013. I did not realize that. I thought he
was that from the chat?
Yeah, it's from the chat.
Yeah.
So thanks, Alex.
They're on top of it in the chat.
Ja, Charlie, wir würden gerne auf Deutsch reden, aber es ist manchmal peinlich für die Zuhörer.
Ja.
Falls etwas unklar ist, frag mal doch in die Chat. Ich werde versuchen, mein Bestes auf Deutsch zu erklären. Und wenn es nicht funktioniert, dann frage ich Ilya, der sitzt gleich neben mir. There's a comebacker fielded by Norell. He shovels it across. That's out number 3. And the 2-out walks don't amount to anything, so no runs, no hits, no errors. 2 left At the end of a half inning of play, Regensburg nothing, the Haar Disciples coming to bat. This is Haar Disciples Baseball, brought to you by the Highbrow Brauerei Wildbräu. No, Brauerei Wildbräu. Brauerei Wildbräu. Something like that. Well, we are back for the bottom of the first inning. Regensburg, a couple of walks, but nothing else in the top half. And Jan Tomek has finished his warm-up tosses. The lineup he will face for the Haar Disciples begins with Nick Michelli playing third base. Cal Murphy, the shortstop, bats second. Joe Rosenthal, the center fielder, bats third. Nate Thomas playing second base, bats cleanup. Justin Olich, the first baseman, bats fifth. Will Thorpe, the catcher, sixth. Simon Lechner, the designated hitter, seventh. Niels Schmidt in right field bats eighth, and Nolan West back with the team for the first time in a while. He's playing left field and batting ninth. Defensively for Regensburg, they have Ronnie Sweeney at third. Here comes the first pitch, by the way, and it's high for a ball to Michelli. Sweeney at third, Schmidt at short, Vance at second, Daniel Patrice at first. The outfield, Grimes, Dinsky, and Harms from left to right, the 1-0. Good curveball in there. 1-1. The catcher is Elias von Garson. And Jan Tomek has pitched 5 innings so far this year. And they were good innings. 4 hits, 1 run. 2 walks, 5 strikeouts. And the year that he pitched in Haar, he was just a workhorse. He went 8 innings almost every single game. And I vaguely remember he was the year, maybe 1 or 2 years after Ryan Bollinger sort of lit up the entire league. There's a fly ball caught in center field. A nice running catch by David Dinsky, who knows this ballpark pretty well.
Yeah, no surprise that Dinsky's starting in center there for Regensburg. He was not in the lineup on Friday night, but no surprise that he's out there today. A lot of experience out there in a very large center field here in ballpark Egelfing.
Yeah, largest outfield in Germany for sure, in the Bundesliga as well, anyway. And so Michelli flies out to deep left center field, and now Cal Murphy steps up to the plate. And a first pitch breaking ball in there for a strike. So Tomek not messing around. Murphy coming into Friday was 1 for 13. And he pulls the ground ball foul, and he's behind 0-2. Murphy, go ahead.
I was going to say a little bit of a shakeup in the lineup for Haar today. Boomer Saunders trying to find that right combination.
Fouled away.
As he's got Michelli in the leadoff spot, who threw an excellent game on Friday night, went 97 pitches. Arm must be feeling well. He's at third base today. He played great defense, or has played great defense so far this year. So he must be feeling well and recovered.
0-2 to Murphy. Ground ball weakly hit to the right side. It's one-handed by Patrice, who feeds Tomek covering, and they've got the out. That's textbook 3-1.
And speaking of knowing the field well, Daniel Patrice back at first base. Very good defensive first baseman. He's got to feel comfortable in this ballpark.
Yeah, the only thing that's changed is the new railing in front of the dugout.
Yeah,
And,
which did play a factor last week. Billy Germain bumped into it there, and a ball that he may have been able to get to escaped his glove.
So now Joe Rosenthal, and he shows bunt and lays one down. Tomek fields it, throws to first, and just got him, just barely. A long stretch by Patrice. And so Rosenthal is out 1-3. That was a cool and calm play by Jan Tomek.
With a very good base runner, bearing down on first base there. Very close play.
Nothing across the board for the Disciples. We have 1 inning in the books, no score. This is Hard Disciples Baseball, brought to you by the Brauerei Wildbräu. We are back. It's time for the top of the second inning here. And for the Legionnaire, they're going to send 6, 7, and 8. David Grimes, Eric Harms, and Elias von Garson to the plate against the right-hander Steve Norell, who walked 2 in the first, but otherwise did not allow any hits. And he goes back to work, and the pitch is hit on the ground to the right side, past the diving Olich and into right field for a base hit. That's the first hit for the Legionnaire. Grimes with a leadoff single. Grimes had come into this weekend 3 for 6, so off to a good start.
Yeah, he was up in the 3-hole, I think, on Friday night, and then he's back down in the lineup. Excellent hitter. If he's hitting in your 6-hole, your lineup's looking pretty good. Yeah,
the Regensburg lineup is deep, that's for sure.
Yeah. And Martin Helmig also trying to figure out the best combination for these guys.
There goes Grimes. The pitch was high. They throw to second base, and they got him. He's out. Not even close. So 1 ball, no strikes, but Grimes is thrown out trying to steal. That throw was on the money. It looked like a high slider. And the throw was received by Nate Thomas.
Right on the money. Tested him early. Looked like Thorpe was ready for it.
And the next one hit weakly on the ground to Thomas. Charges, and he has it kick off his glove. That's going to be an E4. Got lazy on that one, I think, because he thought he had a lot of time. And then, normally he's very smooth, but that time the ball stayed down and just got under the webbing of his glove.
Norell's got a lot of weak contact in the infield, and we've seen a lot of plays where the infielders have to come in hard just because the ball's hit with such a downward angle that it's not gonna be like a soft fungo out to you. So the infielders have to work real hard to get to balls when Norell's on the mound.
How big is that caught stealing now? The first pitch is a ball. Nope, strike on the inside corner to Elias von Garson. Nothing in one. Saw Sebastian asking a question, why was the first game on Friday in Regensburg and now the second game is today in Munich? That's usually the teams decide that. You know, it would have been either 2 home games in Regensburg and then later in the season 2 home games in Munich. But the teams, especially when they're so close, they sort of have the option. This way, there's no hotels that need to be paid, and also you get another date to have a paying entrance, you know, into your stadium.
Yeah, and those Friday night games are really cool, and they're a big draw, I think, in Regensburg.
Right, they have the nice lights there and everything.
When it's above 2 degrees.
Yeah, which is, you know, that'll be coming later in July. 1 ball and 1 strike on Elias von Garson with 1 out. And he pushes the bunt up the first baseline. It is fielded by Norell. He underhands it to Olich for out number 2. And Harms moves to second base. So I guess that'll be a sacrifice, even though there was 1 out. So now you got your runner in second base with 2 outs for the number 9 hitter, but the number 9 hitter is somebody we know well, David Dinsky.
Yeah, not your average 9 hitter, I wouldn't say, in this league. Normally you don't want a bunt to get to your 9-hole hitter, but when it's David Dinsky, who could be a middle lineup hitter for a lot of teams, could be the right play here to get them on the board early.
So Dinsky, former disciple, but also prior to that, former Legionäre. He was 1 for 8 coming into Friday's game. He's got pop, and the pitch. Fastball strike at the hands on the inside corner. That's a good location. And the 0-1. That's inside. 1-1. Norell really trying to establish that inside corner with his fastball.
Yeah, and it's always interesting to see matchups between former teammates and what information they have and what maybe strengths and weaknesses they've seen over hitting in the cage with them, for example.
1-1, that's a breaking ball, which Norell hasn't really thrown a lot of those yet in this game. He's still, I think, finding that pitch.
Yeah, exactly. He's got to be able to command that if he wants to be successful, to go deep into the game today especially.
2 balls and a strike, runner on second base with 2 down. No score, top of the second. And that one is low, 3-1.
Dinsky's a bit of a free swinger here. He's not afraid to take a walk, of course, but have seen him swing on 3-0. If he sees something he likes, he'll turn it loose.
And that's up high for ball 4, so he's aboard. That's the 3rd walk already in the early going. This inning, we've had a single, a caught stealing, an error, a sacrifice, and now a walk. And now the top of the order, Alex Schmidt, who grounded back to Norell. In fact, hit a hard ground ball off Norell's leg to lead off the game. And
time there at first base for David Dinsky to blow his nose.
Well, you know, he's putting the oven mitt on. He's putting his sliding glove. But it is also nose-blowing weather, so here's the pitch. That's a strike and a back pick on the runner at second base, and he gets back. That's Harms. Pitch was a strike, so 0-1 to Schmidt. Thorpe not afraid to throw behind runners. 0-1. Harms at second, Dinsky the trail runner with good speed at first. And this one is a foul ball, or did it hit him? It's a foul ball. And Schmidt,
he was definitely hit by the pitch.
Okay, so
whether he swung or not is the question.
Yeah, that's a worthwhile question to ask. But I thought Meister was actually signaling a foul ball on that. But yeah, clearly Schmidt is in pain. Pitch was up and in.
There's no question whether it hit him or not. It's did he swing on this?
Yeah. Well, it doesn't look like he did in the replay. Not that that's admissible evidence here.
No.
But so a bout of wildness. So in this inning, boy, without that caught stealing, there'd already be a run home. Schmidt is wincing in pain, trying to shake it off. Of course, you know, you never want to get hit on the wrist
It looks like Meister's call is going to stand, though, the way that Martin Helmig is arguing here.
So did he call that a swing?
It looked like he called it a swing.
Okay.
And judging by the reaction from Helmig, he's pleading his case here at home plate.
Let's take a look again on the replay just to see. Okay, he put two hands up like it was a foul ball, actually.
Okay.
And then was pointing at the ground. And so it's going to go as a foul ball, I believe, or a strike. And, yeah, Daniel Husband and Martin Helmig are both out there trying to talk with Patrick Meister, who is imploring play to continue here. I mean, if he swung at it, it's a swing whether it hits you anyway.
It's the same result, yeah.
It's the same result.
Same result whether it hit the bat or the player.
We'll play it one more time just so you can see. And Schmidt is still sort of dealing with the effects of being hit.
Yeah, that's tough. You get hit by a pitch, and then you got to come back and swing here with 2 outs, guy in scoring position.
So the count is 0-2, and instead of bases loaded, there's one more pitch, and Norell could be out of this. It's already cold. You don't want to hit a ball off the end of the bat. And now Thorpe and Meister are discussing something.
I think the count.
Yeah, the count would have to be 0-2.
This is a situation where
he's saying 1-1, but it can't be. It has to be 0-2. If that last pitch was a strike, then it has to be 0-2 because the pitch prior to that was a strike.
These are always situations where sometimes with so much going on and an argument from
the coach. It's easy to get confused,
yes, yeah.
But the first pitch was a strike. And it is, well, he's saying 1-1.
1-1, okay.
Okay, interesting. Which pitch was the ball? That's the question. Because if that last pitch was a ball, then how is that not a hit by pitch?
Yeah.
And if it's not a hit by pitch, it has to be a strike. I mean,
it's never a good time when both coaches seem to be arguing with you here as an umpire. And I know every coach is trying to get their advantage and get their way there too. So,
there have been 3 ball walks, and now I think Thorpe wants to appeal. Did they swing with the first base umpire? Was it a swing? He says yes, it was a swing. So now the count is 0-2.
Okay, there we go. All right.
Interesting. All right.
A little bit of a roundabout way, but seems like we got
to where we were supposed to be based on what the initial call was.
All's well that ends well.
0-2.
But it's not over yet. Here we go.
Yeah. Runners leading first and second. The pitch is a breaking ball outside, and the count is now 1-2. I was about to mention it does happen every now and then in the majors. Like there will be a 2-strikeout or
absolutely.
a 3-ball walk or a 5-ball walk or There's a little tapper. This is going to be a tough play. Charging on it, Murphy. He barehands, throws, and it's not in time. Good stop by Olich to keep it on the infield and prevent a run from scoring. That'll probably be a base hit. And so after all that, we do have the bases indeed loaded. Well, it looks like a normal infield single, but so much happened prior to that.
Yeah.
So you want to learn the nuances of baseball. Well, you've tuned into a good game. Bases loaded for a dangerous hitter now.
And I'm assuming that's what Patrick Meister was explaining to the coaches there. He has to put the ball back in play and then appeal it for it to be a strike.
The pitch is on the inside corner for a strike. 0-1. Ramirez Beaver has power. He's left this ballpark before in the past. I think that was a couple years ago. Pitch, curveball, fouled away, and it's 0-2. Norell has had to labor a bit. He walked 2 in the first inning. He's walked 1, given up 2 hits and an error in this inning. Thanks to the caught stealing by Thorpe, nobody has scored, but
really
still walking a tightrope.
He really needs to get that breaking ball for a strike, and at least as a competitive pitch, because guys are not offering at it right now.
There's a foul ball on the fastball, and the count remains 0-2. That second pitch to Ramirez Beaver was a breaking ball. It was in a better zone. It was at least, it was kind of in the middle of the strike zone, but it wasn't down and away and easy to take. Give a shout out to Neil Morrison watching from South Carolina. Nice to hear from you. We miss you here in Germany. 0-2. And that is just off the corner.
Close pitch.
Fastball was tailing back.
Shout out to Thomas Patrice also.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he was asking who was playing.
Yeah. And
boy, that pitch had nice movement on it.
Stefan Pedro Carp also in the comments giving a shout out.
I should answer your question, Patrice. It's Michelli at third, Murphy at short, Thomas at second, and Olich at first. The pitch, a breaking ball, down and away, and now the count 2-2. Boy, that 0-2 pitch was very close. Maybe it was called low.
Looked
it
really
certainly
good.
It tailed back in a nice way.
Yep.
2 balls and 2 strikes. That's how it goes. Bases loaded. And a ground ball to the left side. Murphy backhands it, fires, and gets him at first.
Nice.
Not an easy play. It was slowly hit. But after all of that, as interesting as it was, no runs have crossed. No runs, 2 hits, 1 error, 3 left at the end of 1.5. No score. This is Hard Disciples Baseball, brought to you by the Brauerei Wildbräu. But if that pitch was a ball, then it's a hit by pitch. That you could have got out of the way, right? There was no way you could get out of the way of that one. No, for sure not. I thought he called it foul. He did this, and I watched the replay. He does this, so that's foul. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, okay. That's right. Yeah, Patrick was telling me this. And then they're going to do interleague play after that. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And Heidenheim also. Yeah. So, yeah. Well, we are back for what presumably will eventually be the bottom of the second inning. Jan Tomek is, I believe, asking for some work to be done on the mound. Ryan Bollinger, there you see the tall Hard Disciple uniform out there. Ryan Saunders came out to inspect things, and as did home plate umpire Patrick Meister and crew chief Alex Hartle. And it looks like the Disciples are going to be required to go find that padding, whatever you call that tool that they use to beat down the dirt.
Yeah.
The damper, yeah.
Tamper.
I mean, it's been very wet here the past few days, and prior to the game, they were working hard on the mound. They were working hard on the batting area and the pitcher's mound. And, we talked about it a little bit last week with Steve Norell's landing spot.
Yeah.
There was also some, I don't know, it wasn't consternation. It was just, there was some work that was required last week as well because, let's face it, the weather has not been great.
No, and it's early on in the year here in Germany. The ballpark Egelfing has only been open for
a couple of weeks.
3-4 weeks now. So they're going to do a little bit of work on there. And it's sorry, I misspoke earlier. It's a TAMP.
A TAMP.
T-A-M-P.
T-A-M-P. All right, well, that's what that thing is there you see. Looks like a giant squeegee or a plunger in the center field camera. And that's, who is that? That looks like
Adriano Penskover.
Penskover is taking care of business over there.
Yeah, no field crews for the most part in Germany here. You're required to do everything yourself, pretty much. So
yeah, it's a luxury if a team has a crew, but for the most part, it's the players or the reserve players or the guys from the second team or the ones out there that have to work on the mound. And so the work has been done. Of course, Tomek knows everybody here. He spent a year pitching in the Disciples uniform. And the Czech right-hander who was part of the WBC this year.
Yes.
With the Czech national team.
In Tokyo.
Yep. And, I mean, that was incredible. That one story, of course, Andre Satoria, the electrician who struck out Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah. Really cool. Really cool.
I got to say I love the WBC. I think it's the greatest event in sports. It's so much fun to see how intense those games are and how hard fought and those little stories that come out, things like that, especially with the Czech national team. Czech national team is a very good team.
Yeah.
But they're essentially weekend warriors.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
playing against guys who get paid millions of dollars to play baseball. Really cool. Also really cool is the fact that Czech, for the most part, homegrown guys. Almost all homegrown guys, born and raised in Czech Republic, grew up playing their baseball here, did not go the ringer route, which some teams tend to do.
Yeah. Well, that's to be expected in a lot of times.
You got to win.
So.
You got to win. But it was great to see them win with homegrown guys, is what I'm trying to say.
And hopefully it will be a boon to the sport in that country. Because
for sure.
When something like that happens, all the various agencies and people responsible for funding, suddenly they start to pay attention. So
and I've seen they've gotten quite a bit of attention and praise, which is well-deserved in my mind.
So we are ready. And the first pitch to Nate Thomas is bunted foul into the on-deck circle. 4, 5, and 6, Thomas, Olich, and Thorpe. Well, Rosenthal bunted and made out to end the first inning. That's your number 3 hitter. Now the number 4 hitter is bunting to start the second inning. So a small ball approach. Perhaps the infield is back with the exception of the third baseman. There's a swing and a miss.
They've had a hard time scoring runs so far this year, and that could be a shift in approach. Boomer Saunders trying to maybe shake things up and manufacture a run, play some small ball. When you're 0-5, you got to try whatever you can.
0-2 on Thomas, and that pitch is down and away, 1-2. Sweeney, the third baseman, had been up at the edge of the grass. Now he backs up, and everybody is pretty much straight away. Center fielder Dinsky didn't have his glove on. Now he does. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Totally handcuffed him.
Really good pitch.
Yeah.
Excellent location there.
Looked like maybe it was a cutter. Something in on his hands, and it just, instead of running back towards the plate, it cut in. And
that's
good pitch.
Perfectly executed pitch by Tomek there.
And so Justin Olich will step up to the plate. And he takes a pitch, a strike at the letters. 0-1 to him. Olich has 2 hits in 14 at-bats. From those 2 hits, one of them is a double. He's got some power, and he flies this one to left field. Racing over near the line is Grimes. He's under it, and he makes the catch. Out number 2. Servus, Jerry, number 47. Greetings from Austria. Yeah, schöne Grüße. It's not so cold. I mean, it's cold, but it's not windy. That's really the important thing. If it's windy, man, it doesn't matter how warm it is back here. It gets freezing.
Yeah.
Yeah, let us know where you're watching from. As Will Thorpe will step up to the plate. Thorpe, who's the native of, I believe, Nanaimo. Is that correct? Do I have that correct?
No, that's not correct.
Okay, thanks. And he shows bunt, looks at a curved strike. Why did I think he's from Nanaimo?
I don't know. That's on Vancouver Island.
Yeah, but I feel like I've talked about it
mainland.
Okay.
His parents live in Nanaimo now.
Okay,
near Nanaimo.
That's
now.
probably why.
Yeah.
And he hits a high pop-up left side, shallow left field. Grimes coming in. Plenty of time to get under it, and that's out number 3. Very quick 1-2-3 inning for Jan Tomek. And we go to the third here in Haar. No scorer between Regensburg and Haar. This is Haar Disciples Baseball, brought to you by the Brauerei Wildbräu. Welcome back to the top of the third. No score between Regensburg and Haar. And for the Legionäre, they're going to send 3, 4, and 5. Daniel Patrice, Ronnie Sweeney, and Matt Vance against Stephen Norell, who's already up to 47 pitches.
Yeah, he needs a quick inning here, but it's really tough with this deep lineup from Regensburg.
And there's a ground ball to the hole. That's going to be a base hit for Patrice. Nothing new there.
Seen that a time or two.
Yeah. There's a base hit for him. He's at first to start things off, swinging at the first pitch. He had gone full and then eventually walked his first time. This time he got a pitch down in the zone and just yanked it down through there. And Helgard, yeah, Cody Chartrand. I believe he was from Nanaimo.
Wow, yeah.
That's
former
a
disciple,
blast from the past.
Former teammate of mine in Swift Current, Saskatchewan.
Saskatchewan.
Yeah. Great place.
I've not been there.
A lot of love for Saskatchewan.
Here's Ronnie Sweeney. The pitch is low. Have you seen the Jim Gaffigan stand-up bit about Canada?
No, I haven't.
You should. You should watch it. That's all I'll say. I'm not going to recite it here. It's very funny.
I'll write that
it's
down.
with love. It's done with love. I mean, I'm from upstate New York, so I know what poutine is. That is a high fly ball to deep right field. Schmidt and Rosenthal. Schmidt under it. He makes the catch, and Patrice has to go back. Sweeney just missed that.
Yep. He's got some pop.
And so that'll bring up Matt Vance, who grounded out his first time. Sweeney had walked as well. In fact, both Patrice and Sweeney had walked with 2 outs in the first inning, and they were both stranded there.
Yes, I see the comment there. Yeah, I do believe Cody Chartrand was from Nanaimo.
Okay, yeah. In case you wonder what we're talking about, folks, we're responding to the folks in the YouTube chat. So if you'd like to communicate with us, you can do it that way. There goes Patrice. The pitch is taken for a ball and dropped, so no chance for Thorpe to throw him out. Patrice is in standing up with a stolen base.
Good pitch to run on there. Looks like they're going to be aggressive on the bases, as always. Try to get some extra bases there. Patrice now in scoring position.
Yeah, and this is the type of situation that Regensburg is always so good. They're always just good at, picking up that one more base runner than you did. And that's why they've been such a tough team the past few years.
Yeah, and I like that move there, too. I mean, it's easy, I think, when a catcher throws out a runner early on in the game to just shut it down and be like, okay, well, he's going to throw us out, so we're not going to try anymore. But Patrice got a good jump, good pitch to steal on there, curveball down on the zone, and he took it.
Yeah, I wonder if they were anticipating that it would be an off-speed pitch. That one is through there, 2-1. Second time through the order. Norell probably going to switch up his sequence a little bit, you figure.
Yeah, and it looks like he's regained control of that off-speed pitch, which is going to help him a lot here. Second time through.
2-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. That looked like a little slide piece, and Vance was all out of sorts on that swing, 2-2.
That had some bite to it.
Yeah. Runner at second with 1 out, 2-2. And instead, Norell lifts the leg and looks towards him. That's Patrice out there. He's got the hoodie on under his jersey.
Yeah, it's become sort of a trend now. What do you think of that, Tim?
Me personally, I'd be worried about wind resistance. I mean, I was a slow runner to begin with.
A little parachute.
Yeah, it's like carrying a parachute behind you. The pitch is inside off the corner. And the count goes full. There you see Patrice taking his lead. Close. That one had run that was running inside. So a full count. Here it comes. And that is ball 4. So Vance draws the walk. That's the 4th walk issued by Norell. And 2 on with 1 out. Again, flirting with danger with a couple of base runners. He stranded 2 in the first, stranded the bases loaded in the second. We got 2 on here with only 1 out for David Grimes, who singled and was promptly caught stealing. Other than that, Regensburg would have had a run if not for that caught stealing. And the breaking ball is outside, 1-0. There's a swing and a miss, 1-1.
Yeah, Norell has been in and out of trouble, but escaping for the most part, or without runs so far. See if he can do it again here. Ground ball would be excellent.
1-1, and he blows it by him. 1-2. Fastball running inside. I think if you're Norrell, you maybe go back to that pitch, go up the ladder, or are you thinking off speed?
I'm thinking off speed just because of the situation, but who knows? I'm not going to get into guessing pitches. That's a rabbit hole I don't want to go down.
But you're a pitcher.
Yeah.
The pitch is outside. He did go off speed.
Yeah.
2-2. I mean, it's fun. I think it's fun to do just because it, you know, if you're a fan and you haven't put a lot of thought into that, it gives another level to how to follow the game, the 2-2. And he doubles up on the breaking ball, trying to get a chase.
Yeah, I mean, I will say that it's, in a situation like this where you're trying to roll a double play, pitchers are much more likely to go to the off-speed pitch, which good hitters know.
Well, what does he do here? 3-2. The runners do not go, and that ball is grounded foul, who was almost directly into the glove of Thorpe at the plate. And he went back to a fastball.
Yeah. Pitch count's getting up, dragging on in this inning a little bit, too. Double play would be really helpful here.
Yeah, only in the third inning. This is a 9-inning game. The pitch is low, ball 4. They're loaded. So a single and now 2 walks, and Norrell is in a massive jam.
We're going to have Ryan Bollinger come out here for a pitching mound visit. It is the advantage of splitting these games is you do get to reset your bullpen, especially early in the year. You don't want to use pitchers twice in the same day. So having these games split does give an advantage to your bullpen, which you can use.
Yeah, and also this is not only split, but it was 2 days ago, so there was an extra day off in between.
Yeah,
these teams played on Friday.
I think that made a big difference. I don't think if it's a doubleheader or back-to-back days, I don't think you see Michelli at third base.
Yeah,
after throwing 97 pitches, that would be tough. It's doable, but it's tough, and I think he's he looks really good at third base so far this year.
And so the meeting on the mound with Bollinger and Norrell is over with.
Doesn't appear to be any action in the bullpen, but it's got to be on Boomer Saunders' mind. He's got a number of capable relievers down there. When do you pull the trigger is the question.
Eric Harms swings and misses at a first pitch slider. Harms probably up there thinking he was going to get a fastball, was geared up to hit it, and had to sort of half swing at that one. 0-1. That's high, 1-1.
Yeah, especially after a mound meeting too, looking to jump on a pitch there, and he's got out of the park power.
The 1-1. That's at the knees on the outside corner. Good hard fastball, 1-2. Patrice is at third, Vance at second, Grimes at first.
Harms is not afraid to jump on an off-speed pitch too. I've seen him with a hanging curveball up in the zone take it out of the park, so you got to be careful of that.
Yep. And he hits a fly ball off the end of the bat to short right field. Thomas is there. He makes the catch. Patrice is going to tag, but he's just going to bluff. Not sure if infield fly rule was called on that or not. It wasn't the easiest of catches, but it results in the same nonetheless, as the fly ball is caught for out number 2 without a run scoring. So that's a big pitch. And it was a breaking ball, hit off the end of the bat.
Just got it out front, got it off the end of the bat, and not enough carry on that to score.
I don't think infield fly was called, in fact. So now bases loaded with 2 down, and Elias von Garson, the number 8 hitter at the plate. Boy, Norrell walking a real tightrope today. And a little chopper slowly hit to Michelli. He fields it on the bag, and the inning is over. A force out 5 unassisted, and Norrell dodges another bullet, gets through the inning, stranding the bases loaded. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 3 left again. Well, that's 8 left on base in the first 3 innings for Regensburg. We go to the bottom of the third. No score. This is Hard Disciples Baseball, brought to you by the Brauerei Wildbräu. We move on to the bottom of the third inning here in Haar. No score. Boy, it has been a tale of two completely different starting pitchers today. Steve Norrell has walked the tightrope in every single inning, and he's up to 68 pitches through 3. And Jan Tomek has thrown 17 pitches and retiring all 6 batters he's faced in 2 for the Disciples, for the Legionäre against the Disciples.
Yeah, he's been very efficient, and if you're Martin Helmig, you got to love that, because there's been some questions with their bullpen so far this year. I think they're still trying to figure out who they can get shutdown innings from. They've had the luxury in the past of having some excellent pitchers and still working things out so far this year, but you got to love to see a strong start so far from your starting pitcher.
And he starts off Zeman Lechner with a first pitch strike, 7-8-9. Lechner, Niels Schmidt, and Nolan West. And a breaking ball. That's in there, strike 2. Boy, he's hitting the corners with everything.
Commanding all pitches, too.
And working quickly. Slow ground ball pulled to the right side. Charging on it is Vance, and he throws out Lechner by a step. And that's 7 up and 7 down for Jan Tomek. And now Niels Schmidt will step up to the plate. Lechner, by the way, had come into the game 5 out of 11. This weekend, 5 out of 11. That's almost 500. Niels Schmidt is 0 for 6. And he shows bunt, and the curve is a strike.
He's been getting on base, though. He had a couple walks on Friday night, and I think a hit by pitch, too. They won't appear in the stats there because they're not updated.
That's true, yeah. And a good curve. Tomek, no mercy. He's starting the number 8 hitter with 2 curveballs, first time through the order.
No love lost, man. You got to do what you got to do to win.
Yeah, you got to do what you got to do. And that's textbook. Went up the ladder with a fastball. Schmidt did not chase it, so the count 1-2. But that pitch was exactly where Tomek wanted it. And he's right back at it, 1-2. Got him. Breaking ball. 3 breaking balls to get the 3 strikes in that at bat. That's the second strikeout for Tomek. And now Nolan West. Left-hand hitter, Californian.
Yeah, California native, recently activated on the roster.
He's got some pop, and he swings through the first one.
Yeah, I saw him earlier today. He had a couple Ks on Friday night there. Obviously, tough spot being recently activated. But one thing he said to me was, "Hey, I'm not going down looking."
Yep. Well, right there, he looked at strike 2, but Tomek is pitching as if he's double parked. Here's the 0-2. Got him swinging. What an inning for Jan Tomek. 2 strikeouts and a ground out. 3 strikeouts overall. 9 up, 9 down. There's really nothing better you can say. So we go to the 4th inning. No score. This is Haar Disciples Baseball, brought to you by the Brauerei Wildbräu. We are back. It is time for the top of the fourth inning. And Steve Norrell, who has thrown 68 pitches, 37 of which have been strikes. That's almost exactly half. That's about the ratio he had last week when he threw 113 pitches and 66 for strikes right now.
And you got to be, I think, a little nervous if you're Boomer Saunders, and here's why. Taxing performance so far for Norrell. He's had to go deep in innings, throwing a lot of pitches, and when your offense comes out and has a quick inning like that, and he's got to get ready again quickly, especially facing 9-1-2, could be cause for concern. Or maybe I'm overthinking it. I'm always worried when I'm coaching. So,
well, it's something to think about. Right there, he was waiting for his shortstop, Cal Murphy, to be ready. The first pitch is a strike called. This is David Dinsky, 9-1-2. Dinsky, Schmidt, and Ramirez Beaver. Dinsky, his first time, walked, and now he looks at a ball. And that time also, the first pitch, Michelli was playing back, and then he charged in, expecting maybe Dinsky might square around.
He's not afraid to bunt. He's got a lot of speed.
2-1 as that breaking ball missed. And just missed with the fastball. 2-2.
Really trying to come into Dinsky. He's a guy who likes to get extended over the plate. Some power behind that, too, and looks like Thorpe is trying to bust him in, and Norrell.
Well, the count. 3-1, line drive, base hit past the outstretched glove of Olich into right field. And Dinsky is aboard to start things off. And look for him to try to run.
And look for Norrell to try to pick him off because he's got a great move. And Dinsky's a guy who sometimes dances a little far off first base and moves around a lot, but he's a threat to steal. You got to keep an eye on.
And so now the top of the order, Alex Schmidt. Schmidt grounded out and singled, 1 for 2. Dinsky at first base. There you see him taking his lead, looking for the signs. And the pitch, there's a check on Dinsky, and he is back. Yeah, we saw Norrell pick off a runner last weekend against Heidenheim. Off the top of my head, I don't remember who it was.
Nor do I.
And he checks on Dinsky again. That was a little bit closer that time. Remember, this league, there's no limit on the pickoff throws.
Correct.
In MLB, there is. But not here.
If this were the MLB rules, he would have to either deliver the ball or get an out on the bases.
And he does it again. And it was a little closer that time. Well, he's gotten closer each time.
Yeah.
So, you know, theoretically, the next time you should get him. Dinsky's over there thinking he's not going to throw over again, is he?
Fourth time, yeah.
And you bet he will if he thinks he can get him. Schmidt shows bunt. The pitch is a ball. Thorpe looked like he was going to try a back pick, and the count 1-0. Of course,
sometimes runners have a tendency to get too far off when they see a bunt. They assume it's going to go down and pitch outside the zone. It's a good opportunity to back pick a runner.
Yep, I've seen that many times, especially with the runner on second. And there's another attempt.
But Dinsky was correctly waiting to see the ball down and not assuming that the bunt would be successful.
1-0 on Schmidt. He squares the bunt and pushes it to the right side. Norrell with one play, he throws to first and gets him just barely. So Dinsky now moves into scoring position.
Really great play by Norrell there. Had to hustle over. Fast runner with Schmidt hustling down to first base there. He just kind of picked it up and fired it.
Yep, and a good job by Olich, setting up a nice target on the inside of the bag. And so now Devin Ramirez Beaver 0 for 2, popped out and grounded out. Runner on second base. We are scoreless in the fourth inning. And Norrell now going through the series of signs with Thorpe. No pitch calm here either. Fouled away. Good cut by Ramirez Beaver. Strike one.
And you wouldn't think this would be a small ball type lineup when you look at it. You look looking at this lineup on paper, it looks like a lineup that's going to give you 10-plus runs, but they've had to bunt and play a little bit of small ball to get runs on the board so far, to try to get runs on the board.
Yeah, it's been a battle for Norell, that is for sure. So far, he's worked his way through it, and those are those games where, you know, if you're an experienced pitcher, you sort of know how to work it, or you're like, okay, I don't necessarily have my best stuff today.
Yeah.
But you can somehow find a way to get through it, make the pitches when you need. 0-1, slow ground ball to left side. Murphy blocks it, sets himself, and throws to first in time. Nicely done. That was deep into the hole. And Ramirez Beaver getting down the line quickly, and Murphy gunned him out.
That's the second excellent defensive play we've seen Kyle Murphy today.
And Dinsky had nowhere to go. He had to stay put at second base.
Yeah, ball in front of him. He's got to retreat there to second base. But with 2 outs, yeah, he's gonna score on anything to the outfield. Dinsky, excellent runner.
So Daniel Patrice, the ex-disciple, walked and singled. He's got a duck on the pond out there, and a check swing, called strike on the inside corner. Norell coming inside with a good fastball, trying to keep this game scoreless through the 4th. And a check on Dinsky.
Like you said, Tim, every pitcher is going to go through days where they don't have their A stuff, and looks like what Norell's going through today, but he's been grinding it out. He's been battling. He's been competing, and he's been keeping the Disciples in this 0-0 ball game in the 4th inning.
And the pitch. Ground ball to the right side. Thomas to his left, gloves it from the outfield grass, spins, and nonchalantly throws him out to get the 3rd out of the inning. So, a couple of ground balls, a couple of nifty plays on the infield, one by Murphy, one by Thomas, and Regensburg does not score. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left on base. 3.5 innings are through, and we are without score. This is Hard Disciples Baseball, brought to you by the Brauerei Wildbräu. We are back. It is time for the bottom of the 4th inning here in Haar. Jan Tomek has been perfect through the first 3. And so that means it's going to be Michelli, Murphy, and Rosenthal top the order for the Disciples. No score. Norell Actually had his best inning last inning, only allowed one base runner, if that's the ledger with which we're going to measure things. But he's thrown goose eggs up there through 4 innings, and so we are scoreless the first pitch. Breaking ball catches the corner. Strike one to Michelli, who flied to pretty deep left center field to start the ball game. And that's kind of the closest the Disciples have come to a hit. That breaking ball is low.
Yeah, and I like him at the top of the lineup here. He could be a spark to get things going. He was certainly a spark on Friday night when he came out and threw a hell of a game on the mound.
He chops one foul, 1 ball, 2 strikes into the dugout. Yeah, he pitched 7 strong innings on Friday, only allowing the 1 run. And the pitch. Chopped foul at the plate, 1-2.
Yeah, he's sort of a jack-of-all-trades type player. Can play everywhere. I've seen him at first base. I've seen him, at third, at second. Can play the outfield, I've heard.
He can catch as well.
Can catch, he can pitch.
And in fact, I mean, his main position, I think, was pitching, and he played in Bonn for so many years as a catcher, and that was when he was basically called in to cover for Vinny Arons, who was serving a suspension as he strikes out on that good pitch running inside from Tomek. Tomek has struck out the last 3 hitters going back to last inning.
Yeah, he's really settled in. He's putting everything where he wants it to go right now.
And so Cal Murphy, who grounded out his first time, got a different bat this time, if I recall. And the breaking ball at the knees. But Tomek has consistently started everybody with a breaking ball. And he's pumping it in for a strike.
Yeah, he's got a great fastball, too. But pitching backwards can throw guys off. They're expecting fastball early in the count. They get breaking ball, and he comes at them hard late in the count.
Yeah, it'll make you think twice. The pitch cued foul off the end of the bat. And the count 1-2. This is Murphy's second season with the Disciples. He was prior in Hamburg with the Steelers. Part of the Canadian contingency.
Yep.
And a good check on a breaking ball. He did not go around, says first base umpire Thomas Schlegel.
Yeah, big pickup from Mississauga, Ontario. His mom is British, so he plays under the British passport.
That's right. I've seen him with the British national team as well. Here's the 2-2. Upstairs, full count.
And last year for Murphy was a lot of feeling out when you're on a new team, and we had a lot of shuffling around in the infield, but good to see him getting the start. He started all games at shortstop so far this year.
And there's the first base runner for the Disciples as he takes a breaking ball down low for ball 4. And he is aboard with Joe Rosenthal coming to the plate. So you wonder if Murphy might try to do any running. He has not attempted any stolen bases so far. The only people who have are Rosenthal and Olich, and they collectively are 5 for 5. Most of that Rosenthal. But now Joe in the 3 spot in the lineup. He's going to look to drive the ball here. He grounded out his first time. Disciples still do not have a hit. And there's that first pitch breaking ball for a strike, just like clockwork. Also from the stretch, Tomek, no problem throwing that pitch for a strike. Murphy inching off the base, not going. Swing and a miss, strike 2, another breaking ball. At this point, you got to sit on the breaking ball, I would say.
Almost. And you got to do something to get the offense going here. I'm thinking what if Boomer Saunders does anything to try to make something happen here. You've been starved for runs the last couple games.
Fastball up and in, and Rosenthal spins out of the way. That time, Tomek also took a long look over at Murphy at first base before he came to the set position. He does the same thing now. Murphy's got his foot on the base, however.
Good pitch to run here, curveball count. But I don't think we'll see Murphy going.
He is not, and the curveball is swung on and missed. It's blocked, but first base is occupied, so Rosenthal is out. That is out number 2. That's 4 strikeouts in the last inning and 2/3. So it's 5 overall for Tomek, but he's really starting to get the K's going.
Yeah, I think the only question now is how long can he go? Haar's really got to get his pitch count up. to try to get him out of the game, because that's been the playbook the last couple times for Regensburg. They've had some troubles with their bullpen. Tomek obviously throwing really well here, but maybe he can go 9, maybe he can't. We'll see.
Well, he's only at 42 pitches, 32 of which have been strikes. I mean, that's about as good as it gets.
Looks really comfortable on this mound, almost like he's pitched here before.
Almost like he's pitched here before. He spent a few minutes digging the mud out of his cleats there. Now he's got Nate Thomas, and that pitch is inside, bobbled momentarily by Van Garsen, but no advance by Murphy. 2 down. Murphy, who walked, is still on first base. No score, bottom of the 4th inning. Nate Thomas struck out his first time.
Interesting to see if he comes inside again to Nate Thomas. That's his power spot. When he's looking for it, he catches that ball out front. Look out.
And a breaking ball. I don't need to tell you, it was a strike. 1-1. If the count goes to 2 strikes, then maybe you see Murphy take off. There he's going there, and there's a drive to right field. Harms racing over to the line. He runs it down and makes a nice basket catch. He took a very direct route to that ball. He got an excellent read on that. Nice play by Eric Harms in right field. And that is out number 3. It's the closest the Disciples have come to a hit. It was hit pretty hard by Nate Thomas. No runs, no hits, no errors. 1 left on base at the end of 4 innings of play. We are scoreless. This is Our Disciples Baseball, brought to you by the Brauerei Wildbräu. We are back. It is time for the top of the 5th inning here in Haar, and we are still scoreless. Ronnie Sweeney, Matt Vance, and David Grimes, 4, 5, and 6 against Stephen Norell. Norell has been walking the tightrope, but so far he's not fallen off of it, and the pitch missed low to Ronnie Sweeney, ball 1. Started him with a fastball.
This is a big out here. I'm going to go out on a limb, Tim. He hit a ball real hard off Steve last time. Be a big one to get the first out here.
And it's inside 2-0. Sweeney has walked and hit that fly ball that you mentioned. He just got under one. Hit it very deep to right field, but it was also very high. And now he cues one off the end of the bat to short. Murphy makes the play and gets him by a step.
Nice one.
1 away.
Go, Will.
And so now that'll bring up Matt Vance. Vance is 0 for 1. He has also walked. 1 down. You know, sometimes in a ball game like this, when a starting pitcher has to really labor the first couple innings, and then suddenly something happens and they just get into a groove. And you wonder, Regensburg, for their part, they're kicking themselves. They had so many opportunities.
Yep.
And the longer you squander those opportunities, the more chances, you give the opposing pitcher to suddenly find his groove. And he finds a good curveball there, and the count 1-1 to Matt Vance. Norell working from the stretch. Swing and a miss. 1-2.
And he's done his job so far. He's kept him off the board. Question of the moves, what do you make from here on out? Because he's obviously not going to be able to go full game. I'm certain is on Boomer Saunders' mind right now what move he's going to make next.
Fouled directly back here as Vance chasing a pitch that was maybe up out of the zone, but it was also in his wheelhouse. Still 1 ball and 2 strikes to Matt Vance. Hit on the ground to left side and into left field past the dive of Michelli. A solid single through the hole. A base hit for Vance. He's aboard with 1 out. And that will bring up David Grimes. Well, if you're Norell, that's the type of thing you'd prefer that to the walks, right? Like you'd rather make a pitch and have it get hit hard as opposed to, allowing free base runners.
Certainly, and it helps your pitch count as well. All the hits have been ground balls through the infield.
So Grimes, who is 1 for 1, who was also walked, and he hits a slow roller towards third. Michelli goes to second. They get the force there. Thomas's relay is not in time. It's impressive that he even got it off as that ball was hit pretty slowly. So the lead runner is retired 5-4.
Yeah, Grimes is a great runner. Hard guy to double up there. Ball just not hit quite hard enough.
And so Grimes is aboard on the fielder's choice. And there are 2 away. And a somewhat lower pitch count for the first 2 outs in this inning, even though there's the base hit sandwiched in there. And so if you're the Disciples and Stephen Norell, you'd be very pleased if you can get Eric Harms within a couple of pitches here. So to even things out pitch count wise, but the breaking ball is in the dirt, ball 1. Harms is 0 for 2, reached on an error and grounded out.
And I'd expect Grimes to take off here at some point in this at-bat.
Is a very short lead over there, virtually non-existent. But that doesn't mean he won't be running. The 1-0 pitch to Harms, swing and a miss. 1-1. That was a breaking ball.
Could be on his mind with that short lead that Norell's got an excellent move over to first. He's a little further off here.
1-1. He's not going. The pitch is a fastball. Called strike on the hands on the inside corner. Good pitch. Harms was definitely looking for something else on that. And the count now 1-2. And that's tapped foul at the plate. Good pitch. Harms just staying alive.
Grimes was thrown out earlier in the game by Will Thorpe, so I'm sure that's on his mind as well as the coach's mind.
And that's shot foul over the Regensburg dugout into the netting. Count holds 1 ball, 2 strikes. Well, Norell, 1 strike away from getting through this half inning. Grimes dancing off the bag, and Norell steps off. Justin Olich holding him on.
He's looking to go there. If he gets a good jump, he's certainly going to take off. 2 outs to try to get into scoring position.
Yeah, with 2 strikes, not a bad time. If you get thrown out, and there's a check on him, and he's back easily. And you can hear Thorpe saying, let's just get this guy. Talking to the batter. Got him looking with a curveball, painting the outside corner. And Norell does indeed get through the inning. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left. And at the end of 4.5, we are exactly halfway through. Still scoreless. Got a good ball game here. This is Our Disciples Baseball, brought to you by the Brauerei Wildbräu. Welcome back to the bottom of the 5th inning here in Haar. No score between the Disciples and the Legionnaire. Tim Collins along with Alex Tufts, and Jan Tomek is pitching a no-hitter with only one batter above the minimum. Of course, it's only the 5th inning, so not really interesting in that regards yet, but he is pitching very well, and he's going to deal with Justin Olich, Will Thorpe, and Simon Lechner, 5, 6, and 7 in the order. Olich looks at a breaking ball high and outside for ball 1. He flied out to left field his first time, did he? And he fouls that one off of his thigh, looked like, or maybe his hip. 1 ball and 1 strike on Olich. That does not feel good.
No.
And he's going to take a moment to walk that one off.
Pause the pitch clock there for that one. See, Ronnie Sweeney's playing way off third base.
Yeah, we can see he's in your picture there. You can see how far he is from the third base bag. That's a good 15 feet, I would say. Everybody else is relatively straight away. There's the 1-1. Ground ball back to Tomek on a hop. Lots of time to make the play to Patrice, which he does, and that's the first out.
Tomek's coming right at guys. He's not messing around at all. Commanding all his pitches for strikes. Here it is. See if you can hit it.
Yeah, and you know that at bat, I forgot to. I mean, I was paying attention, but I instantly forgot what kind of a pitch he threw on the first pitch. But he had been starting everybody with a breaking ball.
And it looked like a breaking ball just slipped out a little bit out of his hand.
Okay. Well, let's see what he does with Thorpe.
See if Thorpe tries to bunt to get on here. Could break something up.
And he started him with a fastball, and it was a strike. And my guess is Thorpe was expecting a breaking ball. That, my friends, is how you pitch. There's the 0-1. There's a breaking ball, bounced, and it hits the bag. It's a fair ball into left field, a base hit past the diving third baseman Sweeney, and Thorpe is on. There's the first hit for the Disciples. As that ball caromed off the third base bag. I think it was going to get by Sweeney anyway.
He was playing deep. He was playing far back on the line. That's why I thought he might try to drop one down there. But when you're 0 for the season up until that point, you want a real hit to get it going, and glad Thorpe got his first hit of the year there. Yeah,
that was a very well-struck ball. And he placed it right on the line, and nothing Sweeney could do. The ball hit the base and bounced past him. And now Simon Lechner takes a ball. The Disciples, they've had to make the most of their opportunities to score at all. They did that last weekend against Heidenheim. The problem was Heidenheim then did the same thing and had more opportunities. There's a ground ball pulled foul. The runner was going, and that's part of it. Saunders trying to put Thorpe in motion, see if you can create something, catch a break. Maybe Simon Lechner hits one in the gap and Thorpe can score.
You got to do something to manufacture runs. They've been struggling to score, and anything you can do as a coach to get the offense going is going to help you.
Oh, vielen Dank, Markus Himmelstoß. Du hast mir einen Hotdog gekauft. Vielen Dank, ich habe Hunger eigentlich. Da würde ich bestimmt einen Hotdog bestellen nachher. Pitch is taken for a ball. Thorpe faked. And that induced Van Garson to jump out of the crouch, but the pitch is high. 2 balls and 1 strike.
Lechner's a good guy to hit and run with. He's a good contact hitter.
2-1. Thorpe a short lead. Not going. Breaking ball. That's on the corner. 2-2. That was a good pitch from Tomek. There is a good crowd here in the park. You don't really see them in the center field camera because for whatever reason they always sit off to the side. Maybe they don't want to be in the camera. But there's a lot of folks here. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss off speed. Got him. Lechner way out in front. And that's out number 2. 6 strikeouts now for Tomek.
You are a little bit famous, or a lot famous, I would say, in this ballpark. So it's no surprise that people, they know where the camera can show. So I think they're clearly avoiding that.
They want to be out of earshot. They don't want to hear me. That's maybe what it is. Niels Schmidt steps up to the plate. and swings through a breaking ball, strike one. Schmidt struck out on nothing but curveballs in his first at bat, if I recall.
It looks like he's continuing that trend here.
Yeah. 0-1. Thorpe still on first base. There you see his lead, and there's a check on him, and the throw actually was to the home plate side of the bag, and Patrice had to go get it, but no harm, no foul. And another throw over there, and Thorpe dives back. Getting dirty. One strike to Neil Schmidt, and now he calls time.
Thorpe's not a huge base stealing threat, but he is a great base runner, a smart base runner.
And with 2 outs, if the count, goes, we say it every time, but it's true. If the count goes 2 strikes, he's probably going. Maybe even before. He was jumping around there. Good breaking ball on the corner, and now the count is 0-2.
Yeah, I think he's either looking for a real big jump or maybe a ball that squirts away from the catcher to move up into scoring position.
Give a shout out to Dr. No Skills. Wave to the camera. There, he just did. Excellent. Dr. No Skills, everybody. Pitch. Swung on and missed. The breaking ball got him again. 7 strikeouts for Tomek. And the Disciples get a hit, but do not score. No runs, a hit, no errors. 1 left. 5 are complete, and we are without score. No score between Regensburg and Haar. This is Haar Disciples Baseball, brought to you by the Brauerei Wildbräu. We are back. It is time for the bottom of the 5th. No, what am I talking about? Top of the 6th. We're in the top of the 6th inning. For some reason, the e-scoring has not updated. And so Elias von Garson, 8-9-1 against Steven Norell, still working on it. And that first pitch was a strike. No score. Norell has settled down a little bit in the past couple innings. He has not had a 1-2-3 inning, but he labored the most in the first 3 innings. In the 4th and 5th, he pitched around 1 base runner. 1-1 the count. Breaking ball, that one's low. The last 2 pitches, he fell off to the first base side.
There's been quite a bit of work done on the mound so far with hammers and other tools out there. See how it holds up this game.
There's the 2-1 pitch on the way. The slow roller left side, going to be a tough play. Charged by Michelli. He throws on the run and made it look easy. That was a nice play by Nick Michelli to get Elias von Garson I thought it was going to be much closer off the bat because of how slowly it was hit.
Yeah, we've had a lot of those slow rollers to the infielders where they have to come in, charge the ball hard, and make a good throw on the run, and Michelli did just that. Broken bat there.
And so now David Dinsky steps up to the plate. Yeah, the E-scoring is hanging, at least on my end here. So the count and the inning and the outs and stuff are not accurate, but the score is, it's 0-0 here in the top of the 6th. Dinsky 1 for 1. He's also walked. And there's a strike pumped in there at the knees. 0-1. No runs on 5 hits and no errors for Regensburg. 1-1 for the Disciples. Norell has had to pitch around a lot of base runners, but so far he's done it, and now he's ahead 0-2. Regensburg stranded 2 in the first, 3 in the second, 3 in the third, and 1 each in the 4th and 5th. So that's, if my calculations are correct, 10 base runners they've stranded. They also had 1 thrown out stealing as Dinsky stays alive, fouling off that fastball, or a slider rather it was. Nothing in 2.
Norell getting up over 100 pitches. You got to think that something's going on in the bullpen.
And now time has been called. I'm going to switch over to the manual scoreboard, I guess. That's where we're at. Top of the 6th, no score. 1 out. And that pitch is low and outside. So they count 1-2 on Dinsky. Oh, now it seems to have updated. I don't know why that took so long, but we're back. And the pitch. Ground ball sharply hit to the shortstop hole, backhanded by Murphy. He fires and gets him. Showing off a good arm, Cal Murphy. He did not waste any time on that.
He knew the batter at the plate, the batter runner very well. You know, David Dinsky hustling down there to first, great speed. Murphy looked like he had a little bit of extra mustard on that over to first. Great throw. He's made several very, very excellent plays today at short.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen Murphy play all that much shortstop, and I haven't seen him show that arm a whole lot because of mostly he was playing second base.
Second and third.
But
last
year,
he
got a good
never
arm.
Yeah.
And Schmidt takes a ball down low. Schmidt, this is his 4th plate appearance. He is 1 for 2 with a single and a sacrifice bunt.
And I think it always gives an infielder or any fielder really a boost of confidence when they come out of spring training and start the year at a consistent position and can really get settled in there, get a lot of balls at that position in practice. And Murphy looks really comfortable there.
2 balls and no strikes to Alex Schmidt. Norell trying to have a 1-2-3 inning for the first time all afternoon. There's a 2-0. Well, it's now 3-0. I did not jinx it. We've established last week that if I actually had that power, I would use it for something way more useful and or selfish. There's a 3-0. That's a strike on the inside corner, 3-1.
Yeah, like I said, I took a while to get used to some of the learning the ropes up here with you, Tim, but I think we're good to go now.
Yes. 3-1. Fouled away, full count. That ball barely staying on the field.
Got a lot of feedback from players and fans and coaches and other people around the game. A lot of people follow you, Tim, and I know a lot of players are rewatching their at-bats and their innings, looking for anything they can do to improve.
And then, hey, look at that. Oh, he fouled it at the plate. Thorpe looked like...
He's arguing it got caught in his chest protector.
Chest protector. Didn't we see that with Yadier Molina a couple of years ago?
It got stuck to his chest protector.
Yeah,
that was pre
hilarious.
sticky stuff inspections. Yeah, I think Thorpe was trying to convince home plate umpire Patrick Meister that it was a catch, but I think he's going to lose that argument.
I think so too. But it looked like for a moment he didn't even know where it was.
Got to do anything to help your pitcher, Tim. I appreciate that. See Thorpe out there working.
And this time he does come back from 3-0 and strikes him out. And indeed, a 1-2-3 inning for Steven Norell, a very good one. And so he goes through the first 6. He is not allowed to run. He's worked hard to get there. And for the Legionnaire, nothing across the board. We go to the bottom of the 6th inning. We got a good ball game brewing here. No score. This is Haar Disciples Baseball, brought to you by the Brouwerij Wildbrooi.
So we go to the bottom of the 6th here in Haar. Leading off for the Disciples is Nolan West.
9-1-2, and Jan Tomek again requesting work to be done on the mound.
Big shout out to Daniel Jager and Adriano Penskofer for putting in the hard work there to get the mound up to snuff.
And there's a line drive cracked right into the glove of the first baseman, Patrice. I didn't even have time to change the camera angle. So West hits it hard. But that's out number 1 here in the bottom of the 6th.
Line drive right at the first baseman, Daniel Patrice. West flips his helmet in surprise as he trots back to the dugout.
And not much you can do there. Solid contact.
Got one on the screws just right at somebody.
So now Nick Michelli. And there's that first pitch breaking ball. He has been painting the corner with that all afternoon. Nothing new.
And it's really made his fastball much better.
There it is again. Same spot. It's got good, sharp downward movement.
I think he took a little bit off that one. That one looked a couple miles an hour slower. Maybe setting him up here for a high fastball or something.
This is only going to be his 61st pitch, and there it was, a high fastball. And Michelli, a pitcher himself, probably thinking right along.
Laying off it, yeah, and umpires in this league don't give a ton of high strikes, so you don't have to chase that one.
There's a line shot down the right field line. Will it stay fair? Yes, it will, and it will go towards the corner. Michelli is on his way to second base. He is there standing with a double.
And double for Nick Michelli.
And that was solid contact. You've seen the Disciples make a bit more solid contact in the past couple innings. Nate Sean Thomas with that fly ball, and then the line drive off the bat of Nolan West. And now Michelli finds a hole down the right field line as it was out of the reach of Eric Harms, who chased it into the corner and got it back in very quickly. But the Disciples now have a runner in scoring position. That's the first time that's happened today. And the hitter Callum Murphy, 0 for 1 with a walk. Murphy's walk was the first base runner of the afternoon. That was in the 4th inning. Curveball strike. You can pretty much put that one in the bank every time. I mean, I'd have to go back and look, but I think he's started almost everybody off with a curveball, and almost every time it's been a strike.
Yeah, he's getting that free strike. 0-1.
And he checks on Michelli. I mean, the other thing is that it's not, you know, you could go up there looking for it, but it's not a great pitch to hit, especially when he hits that location. And so you kind of have to take it if he hits it down and away. There's a ground ball to third. Sweeney has it, fires across the diamond in time for out number 2, and Michelli has to stay put. And so it will take a 2-out hit off the bat of Rosenthal. Or at least Rosenthal's the batter coming up now. And it was Rosenthal who got the big 2-out hit in the 9th inning on Friday night.
Yep.
To turn the game around for the moment. I think the Disciples were a strike away from losing. And then he, with one swing of the bat, gave them the lead.
Yeah, clutch single through the left side. Schmidt scored on a close play at home.
0 for 2 today. Big spot with Michelli on second base, and he swings through that breaking ball. This one down and away. Again, not a good pitch to hit, even if you know it's coming.
Yeah, that one was down in the zone.
That one was a little further out of the zone.
Yeah. I mean, in that case, almost better that you swing over it and not make an out there in an 0-0 count.
Rosenthal, very tough to get if he hits the ball on the ground to the left side. Check swing, he went around, said Patrick Meister. Again, the breaking ball. Boy, it's been Jan Tomek and the breaking ball. That has been his money today.
Yeah, and we should note for everybody at home, hitting is a lot harder than it looks.
Yeah. I mean, the credit should be given to Tomek. He is pitching brilliantly.
He's just been commanding all his pitches, putting the ball where he wants to, commanding both sides of the plate.
Just missed there, trying to paint.
That was exactly where he wanted it.
Yep.
But it was a hair. It was a hair off the plate.
Take a look at that last pitch. You can see the target was set up outside anyway. 1-2 on Rosenthal. And strike 3 is called in the outside corner. And Tomek gets through the inning unscathed. There is a 2-out double, a couple of hard-hit balls, but other than that, nothing. And we are going to the 7th inning of a scoreless tie. This is Hard Disciples Baseball, brought to you by the Brouwer Eifield Brewery. We go to the top of the 7th inning, and it has been a tale of two different ways to get where we are. Steve Norrell has had to navigate all kinds of base runners. In fact, 10 left on base for Regensburg. But he's pitching a shutout here into the 7th inning. And he nails the outside corner with a breaking ball. That's a good sign to Devin Ramirez-Beaver. 2, 3, and 4 for Regensburg. Meanwhile, on the other side, Jan Tomek has basically barely broken a sweat. Not that it's a warm day today. There's a ground ball to the left side. Michelli fields it and fires to get the first out.
Yeah, it's really been a tale of two different pitching performances. Norrell's back out there with 110 pitches, now at 112. I think this is one situation where if you're head coach Boomer Saunders, you say, hey, empty the tank. Looks like Sean Cowan's warming up in the bullpen. I would expect he comes to face Ronnie Sweeney, but we'll see.
Well, it's Daniel Patrice before Sweeney, who is in the on-deck circle. Norrell, like I said, at the beginning of the game, struggled with his command, and he really has settled down quite a bit in the past few innings. And so far, the way this inning has begun, he's looked the best so far, getting a swing and a miss on the breaking ball there on the first pitch.
Yeah, he really had to adapt and settle in and get that curveball, cutter, slider over the plate.
And now he's thrown a couple of good ones. And suddenly, 110 pitches or not, if you're the hitter up there, suddenly you're looking for more than just one pitch. And it's quickly 0-2 on Daniel Patrice. He asks for time and receives. I always think that's so risky when you got 2 strikes and the pitcher's about to deliver the ball to try that hole, because the umpire does not have to give it to you.
He does not have to, no.
On the ground up the middle, and that's going to sneak through into center field, a base hit. Patrice is on. He has been on 3 out of 4 times, 2 singles and a walk. And so now let's see. Saunders is pacing around the dugout. He is not past the railing as of yet, as Ronnie Sweeney is going to step up to the plate. Now Ryan Saunders, Boomer's going to come out to the mound. Let's see if he's going to bring a hook with him, or if he's just going to go and give a chat, see how Norrell is feeling.
He hasn't signaled to the bullpen, so that's, well, there it is, handshake.
Yeah, usually when the coach comes out there and shakes hands, that means, all right, congratulations, your day is done. But they're still standing there. Maybe Norrell is pleading his case. Saunders is looking towards the bullpen. And you're right, indeed, Sean Cowan is coming in. I believe that's Sean Cowan. Yep. Left-hander.
Yep.
So Norrell, his day is over with, but all in all, he battled hard and has given the Disciples a chance to win this game. It is 0-0 with a runner on first base and 1 out here in the 7th inning. So we'll take a short break during this pitching change. Nice round for Steve Norrell, the Texan, as he comes off the mound. And Sean Cowan coming in to relieve him. We'll be right back. This is Har Disciples Baseball, brought to you by the Brauerei Wildbräu. So Sean Cowan is on in relief, and he's being thrown directly into the fire against the number 4 hitter, Ronnie Sweeney. Lefty against lefty. Cowan, who pitched last weekend, he pitched 1 2/3 innings against Heidenheim, giving up 1 hit, no runs. He walked 1 and struck out 1. Had a good outing last weekend in relief. Inherits a base runner here. Patrice at first, and the pitch is a curve, and it's too high.
Cowan's looked really good this season, and I love this move by Boomer Saunders. Sweeney had hard hit ball off Norell and also a walk. Good time to bring in a reliever.
And the curve, this one is in, 1-1. Sweeney today is 0 for 2 with a walk. He's also flied out and grounded out. One ball, 1 strike. Patrice on first base with his hands on his knees, not going anywhere. Breaking ball, skied to right field. Down the line, a long, long run for Schmidt. He's under it in fair territory to make the catch. And did he drop the ball? Now Patrice is at second base. He dropped the ball. They get the force at second base, I guess, because Patrice didn't know whether to go or not.
He signaled out and then safe, so I'm not sure if it was on the transfer or if he called that a no catch.
I could not see it.
We're trying to, and Murphy's going to tag
Yeah.
Sweeney as well.
Just to be sure. And now Ryan Saunders wants an explanation. I couldn't see it. It went around the corner, and it actually goes out of my view.
It was hard to see. The ball definitely came out of the glove. Was it on the transfer or not is going to be the question, I think.
Well, either way, there would have to be just 1 out on the play because Sweeney was on first base. So if the ball had been dropped, then he's safe at first base, and they got the force at second base.
Come on, Blue!
And let's see. I mean, obviously the disciples are going to say, well, if it was a catch and he dropped it on the transfer, then Patrice is out because he didn't tag up, and that should be a double play.
They threw to second, when he signaled no catch, they threw to second to get the force
and
out.
That's why Patrice was dancing back and forth. Patrice didn't know where to go. And only got the last bit of that on the replay. It was a fly ball. It was a fair ball.
They're calling foul ball. Sweeney's still at the plate.
I thought it was a fair ball for sure.
I think they said drop from the call, from what's happening right now. I think they said that he dropped the ball and it's a foul ball.
I guess so.
So Sweeney's going to get another another crack here.
But it looked okay. Well, maybe he caught it right on the line. It definitely was close to whether it was being fair or foul.
Yeah, and we can't tell that from here. First base umpire is right on the line. He's got the best view.
Well, then that means the count must be 1 ball and 2 strikes with Ronnie Sweeney having seen 3 curveballs.
Big break there for Regensburg. See if they can take advantage of it.
And the fastball is outside. 2-2. Patrice started this little situation with a 2-out single. He was behind in the count 0-2 and just threw the bat at the ball basically and grounded it up the middle for a base hit. That curveball is inside. The count now full to Sweeney. And this is a dangerous part of the lineup. Sweeney, Vance, and then Grimes with 1 out. Of course, a ground ball would solve all the disciples' problems, but instead it's ball 4. And so with that, runners move to first and second. Hey, LTV Ricci, thank you very much. I'm going to go buy myself a hot dog. Yeah, I mean, it's possible to donate on this stream, I guess. If you want to, you're welcome to. Thank you. A couple people have done that. But we just need you to watch and enjoy baseball. That's the main goal here.
Big swing there for Regensburg. That looked like it was an out.
Momentum swing, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Either a caught out and the ball fell out on the transfer, or a force out at second base. Instead, it's neither, and it's a
foul
walk.
ball, yeah.
Yeah.
So Matt Vance with 2 on and 1 out. And the curve misses the back door. Vance has singled, walked, and grounded out. Sean Cowan trying to work his way through this jam. The pitch, that one catches the corner. That's the pitch that Cowan, that's That's what he's known for. He's got a good breaking ball, and when he can get it over.
Yeah, he's tough to hit. He's tough to hit because he's not a guy who's going to blow 90-mile-an-hour fastballs by you. He's got to hit those corners.
And change speeds, and Vance late on the swing there. Fouls it to the right, 1-2.
Also a good pitch to go to if you want to induce a ground ball. But got to get something in the zone here, 3-2.
1-2.
1-2, sorry.
Don't confuse me, man.
Oh, wow, sorry.
It's okay. I'm easily confused. Runners leading first and second. That's Sweeney and Patrice. And the 1-2 on line drive. That's a base hit into center field. Patrice is being waved around. Rosenthal up throwing. The throw comes through, and it is not in time. Patrice scores, and Regensburg takes the lead 1-0. That run is charged to Norell, and that closes the book on him. So Matt Vance with an RBI single. Sweeney went to second base and stopped there. And so it's 1-0 Regensburg. And David Grimes steps up to the plate. Grimes is 1 for 2. He's walked, singled, and grounded into a force play. And the curveball in there for a strike. That's where it's important, a young pitcher like Cowan in a situation like this to still just come back out there and try to execute the next pitch. Work pitch to pitch, not let the situation get you down. And there goes the runner, Sweeney for third. The pitch is lined into left center field, a base hit. Sweeney can walk home. Heading to third is Vance. The throw is not in time, and taking second behind the play is David Grimes. It's 2-0 Regensburg on another RBI single. Sweeney scored. He was running on the play.
And it's
Grimes
great piece of base running by David Grimes to move up there. Throw going to third. It wasn't particularly close at third, but Grimes recognized that there wasn't going to be a play at second, and he just took it.
Well, take a break there to answer a question in the chat. Is there food for sale at the stadium? The answer is yes. They got burgers, fries, cake, coffee, beer, of course. Yes, you don't need to bring your own food to the stadium, so come on down. Eric Harms swings and misses. The infield is in now, as of course runners on second and third and only one out. This is where Regensburg in the past, they always find a way to just pull away and just get those scratch on runs. And there's a drive to center field. This is deep enough to score a run. Rosenthal with the catch, and he throws into the center of the diamond, which kept the runner at second base at the very least, but tagging to score is Matt Vance, and it is 3-0 Regensburg. Sacrifice fly for Harms. Give him a run batted in, and there are 2 away.
And that's a good hold there by Grimes at second base. 2 outs. He's in scoring position. He's a good runner. He's going to score on a single. Don't need to try to push it down to third, make the third out at third.
Especially if you make that out before the run scores. And now Von Garson gets plunked. And so it'll be Dinsky coming to the plate with 2 on.
And I see Boomer Saunders taking a long look down to the bullpen to get somebody hot and ready.
And Thorpe is going to go out and have a chat as well. You see Cowan, it's never a good feeling when you're the pitcher on the mound and you sort of have an eye on the bullpen, and you can see as now Saunders, who had stepped out onto the field to look into the bullpen, make sure that whoever was warming was ready. Now he's making the move. So we'll see who this is. My presumption is maybe it's Luke Steinlein, but we will know in a minute. By the way, thank you, Renee. Thanks for the donation. Yeah, I don't generally ask for donations on the channel, but hey, people are doing it, so I appreciate you very much. Thank you very much. Big shout out. Yeah,
much appreciated.
Yeah, I mean, helps keep the lights on around here. That looks like Jan Endriat is going to come on.
Yep,
he is the nasty Nestor of the Haar disciples.
Yeah, that mustache. You can see it quite clearly from up here.
So Sean Cowan comes on, and he will depart after getting 1 out. And it's going to be Jan Endriat's problem now. So we'll take another short break. It's 3-0 Regensburg. We're in the 7th inning. This is Haar Disciples Baseball, brought to you by the Brauerei Wildbräu. So Jan Endriat is into the ball game, right-hander for the Haar Disciples, and he inherits a situation with runners on first and second. There are 2 down in the inning. Grimes is at second, Van Garsen is at first. 3 runs are in. 1 of those runs is charged to Norell, the other 2 to Sean Cowan, and the 2 base runners still on the ledger of Cowan. And the hitter is David Dinsky.
A familiar face for Jan Endriat and Will Thorpe, who are going to try to work together to get him out.
Endriat, another guy who's got a big 12-6 curveball, and there's a swing and a ground ball to short. Murphy is going to go the short way to Thomas at second. 1 pitch from Endriat, and the inning finally comes to a close. But it was a good one for Regensburg. They send 8 batters to the plate. They get 3 runs on 1. Can't read my own handwriting. 3 hits. 3 hits. There were no errors and 2 left on base. We go to the bottom of the 7th. It's time to sing, if you want, at home.
I'll leave that to you, Tim.
Yeah,
I'll leave that to you, Tim. You're the experienced veteran out here.
I'm gonna take a break on this one. We'll be right back. It's 3-0 Regensburg. This is Haar Disciples Baseball, brought to you by Brouwer Ifield Brewery. Well, we move to the bottom of the 7th inning. Regensburg pushing across 3 runs to break the scoreless tie last half inning. And Jan Tomek still out there. Boy, he has thrown 70 pitches so far. He's pitching to Maddox. Well in line to get Maddox if he can get through the next 3 innings.
Yeah, he's got his work cut out for him here. Nate Thomas hit a ball hard off him last at bat.
And he does it again here, and that's going to be on a couple of hops to the second baseman, Vance, who backed up to the outfield grass to make that play, but still throws out Thomas. Yeah, the Disciples have had better swings for sure the past, inning and a half or so.
Yep.
But it still has not brought them much.
No, nothing to show for it, and it's going to be interesting to see how long Martin Helmig, how far does he push him here?
There is activity in their bullpen.
Yeah. And, yeah, they haven't had a whole lot of trust in their bullpen so far this year, so let's see how it shapes up.
Justin Olich looking at a strike on the inside corner.
Obviously, early in the year, you don't, especially in April, you don't really want to overextend your starting pitcher, but
there's a swing and a foul off to the left, 0-2.
You also have to do what you can to win the ball game.
Well, it was Christian Pedrol who pitched very well on Friday. And who was it? Finn Freisberg who got the win, I believe, right? There's a breaking ball hit on the ground up the middle. To his right, Vance throws off balance and gets Olich for the second out. And again, Tomek very quickly and efficiently working his way through the Disciples lineup. 2 up, nobody on.
Yeah, I mean, you can't – it's a tough position right now because you can't sit around and try to, take a bunch of pitches to get his pitch count up because you're going to be in 0-2 counts.
Yeah, he's been just painting the corner with his curveball all day, and you basically got to just tip your cap to him.
Yeah, and they have hit some balls hard, but they've just been right at the fielders.
So Thorpe, who is 1 for 2, had that ground ball that hit the third base bag for his base hit this afternoon. Right-hand hitter stands in there. He's got some pop. And there's a breaking ball, and for the first time in a long time, it was not on the outside corner of the knees. It actually bounced in there. 1 ball and no strikes. And it's popped straight up behind the plate. Von Garson looking for it at the edge of the grass, makes the catch. And a very quick 1-2-3 inning is in the books for Jan Tomek. He has pitched 7 shutout innings. And Regensburg leads this one 3-0 as we go to the 8th here in Haar. Haar Disciples Baseball, brought to you by the Brauerei Wildbräu. We are moving along to the top of the 8th inning. This game was scoreless until the 7th when Regensburg pushed across 3 runs. Matt Vance's RBI single, followed by David Grimes' RBI single and an Eric Harms sac fly, and that's where we are, 3-0. There was a controversial play down the right field line.
That was a big swing.
Momentum swing, yeah.
Momentum swing and also a net gain for the Legionäre.
And Jan Endriat, a good breaking ball to the top of the order, Alex Schmidt. Devin Ramirez-Beaver, and then Daniel Patrice. But the real story of the game is Jan Tomek, to be honest. He has pitched brilliantly. There's a swing and a miss.
Absolutely, and I don't see anybody getting loose. And I don't blame Martin Helmig for not going to the bullpen. He's going to ride Jan Tomek as long as he possibly can, I think.
Tomek, I mentioned, I mean, he was an innings eater and just a absolute workhorse for the Disciples that one year that he was here, and he is demonstrating that again today.
And you're not even, riding him, pushing him out there.
He's barely breaking a sweat. Hit on the ground on a couple of bounces to short. Murphy has had an excellent day over there. And this was a much easier play than some of his previous ones, but he makes it nonetheless. 1 away, and that'll bring up Devin Ramirez-Beaver. Schmidt, before that ground out, had been 1 for 3. He had singled and also sacrificed. And now Ramirez-Beaver, who is 0 for 4. Top of the 8th inning. Another close ball game. The Disciples have come out on the wrong end of a lot of those lately. Here's the pitch. Good curveball from Endriat. Hey, Kevin Treasel, thank you so much. Treasel,
Oh, wow.
$12. I could buy like an entire pizza with that. And I intend to. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Much obliged.
There's a curve. That one is cued, and it's a foul ball. Lands about a foot in front of Olich down the first base line off to the right.
Tell you what, I'd be checking that ball if I were in play there. It looked like it was right off the cup of the bat there.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Tomek, you want that ball.
If I'm the pitcher, I want that ball. Absolutely.
Might have a nice big scuff in it.
Yeah. For a pitcher like Endriat, who relies on spin and location, could be an advantage.
0-2. That one is in the dirt. Endriat looked like he lost his footing. I mentioned Endriat, the nasty nester of the Haar Disciples, not because he's left-handed, just because he has a mustache.
The mustache.
It's all about the mustache.
Yeah, he's a crafty pitcher, too.
Yes.
He's a pitch-to-contact guy.
One and two. And he hit him. I was just going to say it would be nice to see him try the double leg kick that Nestor Cortez does, but you probably don't want to be messing around with that too much.
No, that was always very frowned upon when I was in college.
Yeah, sure.
Playing college summer baseball, you would hear it from the other team if you started doing stuff like that, but it's become mainstream, I think. Different leg kicks and upsetting timing. I don't blame pitchers. They're trying to do everything they can to get guys out.
When I was real young, here's Daniel Patrice. As I will entertain the idea of starting to tell a story with one out in this inning, but here's the pitch to Patrice. That one hit him, and so now two straight hit batters. Endriat looked good to the first batter and was ahead of Ramirez Beaver, and then suddenly the last two pitches have come out of the hand. Not the way he wanted. Yeah,
just missing by a little bit. Some of those guys stand pretty close to the plate, and Endriat's doesn't have an intimidating fastball, so they're gonna take it.
Well, now Ronnie Sweeney. Now that we're gonna get a pinch runner
for Patrice
at first base. This, I believe, is Soliana. I was given a roster with names and no numbers, so I'm guessing that's Cirilio Soliano pinch running. They're going to play behind him, so he goes in for Patrice. Runners leading first and second, and Sweeney hits a foul ball off to the left. Strike one.
Good double play candidate here for Haar. Guy who hits the ball hard. Not a particularly fast runner from what I've seen. But if he's able to stay back on some of those pitches, could be driving it the other way.
Outfield is straight away. Okay, Eli Muzzoni is on first base. His name was not on the list I was given. There's a strike. So Muzzoni. And the count 0-2 to Ronnie Sweeney. There's one out. This is a big spot with runners on first and second.
This is a big situation.
Only a 3-run game. The way Tomek has been pitching, it feels like a lot bigger of a hole than that. So these are two very big runs out there on the base paths. A long hold by Endriat. Now he deals, and that's outside. 1-2. Endriat taking a while to get the sign from Thorpe.
Shaking him off there to get the pitch he wants.
Hit on the ground to the first baseman, Olich, who goes to second, and he throws it high, but a nice play by Murphy to come down with it and keep his foot on the bag. Just barely getting the runner, Muzzoni, who was pinch running for Patrice. And so it's a force out.
Yeah, great play by Murphy there to get one. You don't want to have a situation where it's everybody safe. You got nothing to show for that ground ball that Andriot worked so hard to get. I really see Murphy as the quarterback in this infield. It's really cool to see him get settled in and be a leader out there.
And that ground ball also came up on Olich. It looked like it hit the edge of the grass and took a big hop. And right now,
have another pinch runner for Sweeney, it looks like.
Yeah, they're looking in the dugout trying to figure out who they want to send out there. And so Patrick Meister is waiting. And it looks like
there's a question with the scorer, I believe.
Yeah, okay.
That's what it was, not a pinch
runner.
runner.
Because, like I said, we were given a roster with no numbers, so the scorer wanted to know who was the runner.
Yeah.
That's what that was. Oh, yeah, Douglas Sutton wants to know what I was about to tell a story about. I have to remember. What was I about to tell a story about? I can't remember. Forgot. I was going to reminisce about something, and then Patrice got hit by the pitch. Well, maybe somebody remembers. There's a curve ball.
My favorite stories of yours are the old days at Olympic Stadium in Montreal, but that's a big can of worms to open up.
It had something to do with Little League. Oh, we were talking about pitchers changing their windups. So when I was 12, I recorded every baseball game off TV, and being a lefty pitcher, first and third. The hitter is Matt Vance, by the way. I should tell you what's going on in the game, too, after the next pitch. That's high, 2-0. We were talking about the nasty Nestor leg kick, and you were saying how that's discouraged. So when I was in Little League, I only played 1 year of Little League. Everything I knew about pitching, I learned from TV. And so I had my Dave Righetti impression, I had my Lee Guterman impression, I had my Frank Tanana impression to date myself. So you should be able to pinpoint exactly how old I was. There's a swing and a miss and a thought of throwing behind the runner.
Yeah, a little bit there.
Anyway, the first game I ever pitched, I was like changing my windup like every fourth pitch, and my coach was like, "What are you doing? You're gonna balk." And I was like, "I don't know what that is. I'm only 12." But I had sort of I ended up sticking with the Righetti. That was the Dave Righetti. That was my main windup when I was 12. There goes the runner, breaking ball low, throw through to second base, not in time, and it is in time. Okay, they got him. I called that one too quickly. My bad. The throw was right on the money, and Hartle was right there to make the call. And I guess the tag got down before the arm was in. So that's out number 3, and the inning is over.
Quick tag there by Nate.
Score.
Quick tag there by Nate Thomas. You might have, if you blink, you miss it.
Yeah, he really got the glove down. Let's watch that on the replay. The pitch doesn't really matter where the pitch was. It was high. And so Sweeney is caught stealing 2-4, and the Disciples get out of the inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 left on base. Bottom of the 8th inning coming up. It is 3-0 Regensburg. This is Hard Disciples Baseball, brought to you by the Brauerei Wildbräu. So we move to the bottom of the 8th inning. Jan Tomek He who has only thrown 75 pitches, 57 of which have been strikes.
I had to do a double take there. I didn't think that was correct, but
it is.
It is.
He has pitched very well, and he's going to deal with 7, 8, 9, Lechner, Schmidt, and Nolan West. And a curveball for a strike. I feel like I've said that about 1,000,000 times today. Meanwhile, at third base, Eli Muzzoni takes over, and Ronnie Sweeney has moved to first. That pitch is low. Lechner 0 for 2. What a surprise. The Disciples only have a couple of base runners, 2 hits, and 1 walk. Tomac has 8 strikeouts. There's the 1-1. That's low. 2-1. Tomac only allowed 1 run in his 5 innings in his previous start, so he's off to a raging start so far here in 2023.
And you got to think that
check swing, he did not go around.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead, 3-1.
All good. You got to think that preparation for Tokyo really gets you hitting the ground running when you start in April and you're prepared in March to pitch.
That's true. The pitch is a strike in the outside corner. Also, just the experience of being there.
Yeah,
it's got to be pitching in those games and playing against those teams, and
it's got to be a boost of confidence coming into Bundesliga play.
Yeah, just a wonderful way to start your year. Curveball rolled on the ground to first, and Sweeney flips it to Tomac, out number 1. Business as usual for Jan. 3-1 on the putout for those of you scoring at home, which is a grand total of, I guarantee you, 0 people. But I'm going to say it anyway.
You never know.
Because you never know. Somebody's grandfather might be watching.
Yeah, it's a bit of a lost art.
There's a couple of, that's one of the things that people used to say all the time that's sort of fallen by the wayside. I just do it because I think it's funny. Neil Schmidt bunting and missing a breaking ball. Schmidt is going to see nothing but breaking balls, I'm pretty sure. Unless there's one show-me fastball in there. Schmidt is 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts, all of them on breaking balls. There's another breaking ball, another bunt and miss. I think it was in the strike zone anyway, so the count 0-2. Schmidt wants to know, did you call it a strike or did I bunt and miss? And Patrick Meister, I think, said both. 0-2. Tomac working on a Maddox. Got him, another breaking ball. Don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure that out.
Yeah,
and
he's
yet
just
it's still difficult to hit. It's so difficult.
He's commanding it so well. That one's right where you want it as an 0-2 pitch. Good enough that it looks like a strike to start and then disappears out of the zone.
Yeah, his slider or breaking pitch, whatever you want to call it, appears very tight today. It's got late movement and sharp movement.
Yeah, and he's throwing it for a strike and out of the zone when he's needed to. He hasn't been overpowering with his fastball, but it just looks that much quicker because you're seeing almost everybody's seen a steady diet of curveballs, and especially early in the count.
Yeah, he's been throwing the fastball just enough to make the hitters think about it.
And he's had great command with his fastball too. Yeah. He's been able to place it off the outside edge, inside corner.
West smacks one into right center field, and a nice leaping catch out there by Dinsky, patrolling the outfield grass that he knows so well, and a very quick 1-2-3 inning. Boy, let's see, Tomac has retired 1, 2. No, we go back to the 6th inning. He's retired 9 in a row. So
another loud out there from Nolan West, who had a line drive to first baseman at the time, Daniel Patrice, earlier in the game. Another hard hit ball in the gap there, but Dinsky able to track it down, knows the outfield well.
So we are going to the 9th inning. It is 3-0 Regensburg. This is Hard Disciples Baseball, brought to you by the Brauerei Wildbräu. So we go to the 9th inning here in Haar. Regensburg with 3 runs in the 7th inning, and that's it. 3-0 is the score. Excellent pitching on both sides. Stephen Norell had to really battle his way through 7 innings, but he pitched very well and gave the Disciples a chance to win. However, Jan Tomek has been brilliant on the other side. He's been efficient. He's been getting ahead of the hitters nonstop, and he is on his way to potentially pitching a Maddox, a complete game shutout under 100 pitches. Meanwhile, the Disciples go to the bullpen again. It's Luke Steinlein. He has pitched 2 1/3 innings so far this year. 1 earned run, 2 hits, a walk, and a strikeout. He's, of course, a veteran of the Bundesliga. And he is going to deal with 5, 6, and 7. Matt Vance, David Grimes, and Eric Harms, with Regensburg leading 3-0 here in the top of the 9th inning. Swing and a miss.
That's one way to solve bullpen problems, is get your starting pitcher to come out and give a performance like Jan Tomek has given today.
Yeah, you can't really do much about that.
Obviously not a safe situation here, but one where you'd like to keep it at 3, give your guys a chance to make a comeback in the bottom.
And that pitch is upstairs and high. Minor hiccup with the connection, but we should be back. My apologies. 3 balls and a strike on Matt Vance. Leading off the top of the 9th. There's a strike, the count now full. Ball game was started by Stephen Norell, Sean Cowan, and then Jan Endriat, and now Steinlein issues a leadoff walk to Matt Vance. Vance has been on base 4 times today in 5 plate appearances, 2 walks, 2 singles. And in fact, it was his RBI single that got the scoring started in the 7th inning.
Yeah, he's such a smart hitter. Covers the plate so well. Doesn't get beat a whole lot on pitches in this league.
I believe his career batting average over 340.
Would not surprise me.
In the Bundesliga. That's, of course, thanks to Ty Erickson's stat database, where you can easily look at stats across seasons. He's going, and the pitch is fouled away. Vance was off with the pitch. Strike 1 to David Grimes. Hey, Royal Flush, 17. Thanks. Boy, people donating.
Whoa,
this is pretty sweet. Thanks very much. Pay for my internet costs.
Royal Flush 17.
I like the name.
you.
I like the name. I feel like I know that person.
Whoa, greetings from Regensburg, too.
I like Regensburg. Beautiful town.
Maybe we're being too generous to the Regensburg team.
There's a bunt, and it is fielded by Thorpe. He tags out the runner. Was
It's
it
a
fair?
double play. Double
It's
play.
going to be
Yep.
a double play if it is.
It's a double play.
They got to tag the runner at
they
second
gotta
base.
tag, yeah.
He's safe.
Oh,
They
okay.
didn't tag him.
Yep.
And Grimes is arguing that it was a foul ball, but Meister did not call it a foul ball.
He called it fair.
It looked like it hit the plate, and then the plate is fair territory.
The plate's fair. I'm not sure you can overturn this. Meister's right there. It's incredibly hard to see from behind first base and behind the mound.
And it's even hard to see on the replay, but
Yeah.
Thorpe pounced on it immediately.
I don't think you can change this.
I think that's a fair ball. I think that's going to stay the call. And the only mistake was that the Disciples did not. Well, they just changed it. It's a foul ball. Okay. Well, never mind. And now Saunders out there rubbing his forehead. This is the second ball that's been changed to a foul ball in this game.
Thorpe's pleading his case.
And Saunders has been thrown out of the game. I think we could see that coming because, Saunders had legit beef with the ball that was changed to a foul ball earlier in the game. And here's another instance to where that's happening. His argument is that how can the base umpires see better than you that that's a fair or foul ball?
Yeah.
That's the argument he's making. And, he went out there knowing that he was going to get tossed with the intention of getting tossed, and he got tossed. Meister let him say his piece. And
I will say this. Umpiring is incredibly hard. Tim and I are,
sure,
are,
of course.
are not the guys you want umpiring out there.
Nope.
These guys do a really great job. They care a lot about the game. Sometimes you get together, you try to get the right call.
So the count is 0-2. Vance still at first base. There's nobody out in the inning. And that pitch is low. 1-2. Well, earlier in the game, it was a fly ball that went down the right field. It was right along the right field line, and it was dropped by the right fielder, Niels Schmidt. And initially, it was ruled that it was a catch. Then it was ruled no catch. And then there was the question of who was going to be out, the batter or the runner. And then the whole thing was ruled a foul ball. This, however, is a fair ball. It's picked up by Thorpe, who throws to first in time to get the out.
And that was a big shift in that inning. It looked from our angle that Schmidt caught the ball and then was taking it out of his glove, which I've been greatly informed here that it's called voluntary release now, not transfer, and that he was voluntarily releasing the ball and it fell on the ground. But really hard to tell from where we are. Umpire's right on the line. He's got the best view of it.
Yeah, so that was the play that then after a long discussion, we found out that actually, it was a foul ball. Never mind. And then here you had the little tapper in front of the plate, initially called fair, and then after an argument by the hitter, the call was changed.
Yeah.
And that's when Saunders made the decision that he had decided he would rather watch this game from the sidelines. So the pitch was low to Harms. The count 1 ball, no strikes. There's 1 out. Vance is the runner on second base. Seems like Vance is always on base against the Disciples. And you know the reason is because he is. That one is low, 2-0.
Yeah, he's been a thorn in the Disciples' side for years, and he had a couple home runs taken away from him last year, actually. So maybe that's in his mind today. The first game that the upper portion of the fence was, changed to in play. He hit 1 ball off there and 1 ball to very deep center.
Oh boy, I don't remember that.
Yeah, opening day last year.
Wow.
2022.
My memory is, man, since the pandemic, just like all the years have just gone together. As far as I know, I'm still in my 30s. But
sounds about right.
Sure, in my mind, 2-1. And off the corner, 3-1 to Harms. Harms, by the way, is 0 for 3 with a sacrifice fly and a run batted in. He reached on an error, struck out looking, and popped out otherwise. And that's ball 4, so Steinlein issued a couple walks so far in this inning.
Yeah, trying to recover from that overturned call there. It's always frustrating, and you could see that frustration boil over for Boomer Saunders and for Will Thorpe also. I mean, you're on a team that's 0-5 right now. Some of that frustration is going to come out, but you got to get it together and get through this inning, give your guys a chance to come back and win the game.
So now Elias von Garson, the number 8 hitter, he's bunted, grounded out a couple times, and been hit by a pitch, and now he pops one up. Shallow center field. Rosenthal started back. Now he's racing in, and no one gets there. The ball lands, and everybody moves up a base. So it's a pop fly single into no man's land into shallow center field. And the bases are loaded.
Definition of no man's land there.
Right there.
Bermuda Triangle.
Bermuda Triangle,
whatever you want to call it. Yeah.
Into the Haar Triangle. So bases loaded for Dinsky.
Going to be an interesting at bat here, I think. Former teammates facing each other. Obviously, Lucas Steinlein had front row seat for a number of years, 4 years, I think, to see David Dinsky hit for the Haar Disciples and see if he can expose maybe some of his weaknesses or his perceived weaknesses.
Now the infield's going to play back looking for 2. That's a tough task with Dinsky running down the line. The pitch is a ball inside. Steinlein looked a little bit surprised. 1-0.
He's been given that strike on the inside corner there. Must have been a hair inside. Hasn't been squeezing them, I don't feel, on that inside pitch.
Vance, Harms, and Von Garson, the base runners. And that missed outside. 2-0. Steinlein, normally a guy who just comes in and does not get flustered by anything. He's not flustered, but he's not found his control. 2-0. I mentioned this is his 13th season with the Disciples. He's been around the block, and that's a strike at the knees on the outside corner. 2-1. Steinlein, also a former member of the national team, is 1 out in the inning. And that one missed inside. 3-1. Not missing by much.
No, and it's been clear all day. They've really tried to bust David Dinsky inside with fastballs. He's been laying off those ones too far inside, and got a pitch to hit earlier over the plate.
And that is upstairs. Ball 4, and that's going to force home a run. Well, 3 walks and a single, and there's your rally. Give Dinsky a run batted in. The lineup turns over, and now Bollinger, the acting manager, going to go out and have a chat with Steinlein. Steinlein, he's the end of the bullpen. There's nobody else coming in after this, unless likely it not. Really falls apart.
Yeah, likely not, especially under these circumstances. But yeah, Bollinger's just out to chat, calm down a little bit. Hey, get back in the zone here. Get this guy.
Well, this ball game was scoreless through 6 innings, and then in the top of the 7th inning, Regensburg pushed across 3 runs to break the scoreless tie. Now Bollinger is having a chat with Patrick Meister. Wonder what this is about, whether it maybe has something to do with the mound.
I'm not sure. Yeah, he was pointing to his shoulder. Bollinger was pointing to his shoulder.
Steinlein is also pointing to his shoulder.
That's not a good sign.
Yeah, Steinlein's coming out of the game. That's an injury. The Steinlein is departing. That means whoever comes in has as much time as they need to warm up. So that is absolutely the last thing the Disciples needed after the rough start to their season. And so we're going to get another relief pitcher,
Tom Kruger.
So we'll take a short break. Thomas Kruger is going to get all the time he needs to warm up. Bases loaded, 4-0 Regensburg, top of the 9th. Heart Disciples Baseball brought to you by the Brauerei Brewery. Well, here in the top of the 9th inning, things have gone from bad to worse for the Disciples. You know, it's a hard-fought ball game. It had been close. Regensburg has been pulling away in the past few innings, but now the real damper is that Luke Steinlein departs the game with an injury of some sort. He was pointing to his shoulder. And so now Thomas Kruger will make his Disciples debut with the bases loaded. And Alex Schmidt at the dish. Right-hander who formerly pitched for the Ulm Falcons, and the first pitch is on the corner for a strike.
Tough spot to be thrown in here. Let's see if he rises to the occasion.
Steinlein with 3 walks in the inning. Certainly uncharacteristic of him. And the pitch is inside. 1 ball, 1 strike. 3 walks and a single, and that's it. Dinsky with a bases loaded walk. That's where the 4th run came from. And still no activity, so in the Regensburg bullpens, it looks like Tomek's going to try to finish the job. Ground ball to the hole. Murphy backhands. He's going to go to third. They get the force, and a run will score. That makes it 5-0, but there are 2 down. So an RBI ground out for Schmidt. He reaches 6-5 on the force out. There was Harms who scored. Von Garson was out, number 2. And Dinsky goes to second base. So the runner at third is erased. 5-0 Regensburg. And Devin Ramirez Beaver.
Smart play by Michelli there to get to the bag, knowing that that's the easiest way to get it out there.
Yeah, no chance for double play on a ball hit that slowly. 1-0 on Ramirez Beaver, who is 0 for 4 with a hit by pitch. That's in the dirt. It was blocked by Thorpe and kicked away by Meister inadvertently, but no advance by the base runners. Obviously no intent on that, but that would have just been the ultimate bad luck.
Yeah, umpire's part of the game. Can't disappear when the ball gets away like that. So.
Did you see the play in Cleveland last week where Larry Vanover was pelted by a relay throw?
I did not see that.
As the pitch is high, 3-0 now on Ramirez Beaver. This was in the Yankees and Guardians game. I think it was on Friday night. No, Wednesday night, excuse me. 3-0. And ball 4, the bases are loaded again.
Kruger's got a lot of movement on his pitches. He's sort of got that 3/4 delivery. Generates some downward sink and some run into right-handed hitters. He's got to get back in the zone here.
Now Muzzoni with his first at-bat. Eli Muzzoni, he came into the game for Daniel Patrice as a pinch runner, and he sprays that one foul, strike 1. Strike 1. And Muzzoni's name was not on any of the rosters we were given. So apologies for not realizing who he was at first. And he swings and pops that foul out of play nearly to the same spot. Long run by Olich, but that's over the other side. 0-2. There are 2 down. The bases are loaded. 2 runs in. Kruger trying to close the book on this inning and get it over with. And he does so, getting the strikeout on 3 pitches. But 2 more runs come across on only 1 hit.
Good work by Kruger there, filling in, making his Disciples debut.
So we go to the bottom of the 9th inning. Will Jan Tomek come back out? We'll find out in a minute. It is 5-0 Regensburg. Looks like they have gone to the bullpen.
Yep.
So we'll be back. It is 5-0 Regensburg. This is Hard Disciples Baseball, brought to you by the Brauerei Wildbräu. Well, we move to the bottom of the ninth inning. Regensburg, 5 runs on 9 hits, no errors. Haar, no runs on 2 hits. They've made 1 error. Jan Tomek's day is done, and boy, what a day he had. 8 innings, 2 hits, no runs, 1 walk, 9 strikeouts. He only threw 86 pitches, and he will be relieved by the 23-year-old right-hander, former Stuttgart Red, Joe Quidano de Leon. And the right-hander comes on, and we're just waiting for the umpires. There's a long discussion. You know, the scorer is over there, and I think she is angry because we were given a list with no numbers, and she just wants to know who's in the game, as is her right. She's the official scorer.
Yeah, you got to have those things under control, and the scorer's got to know who's coming into the game, what number they wear, and what number their Spielerpass is as well. So Donald's going to get a few more warm-ups here. He's a very talented young pitcher. Previously with Stuttgart, 1 appearance this year already. He's got a very smooth and easy delivery, and he's a hard thrower at the times I've seen him.
I wonder, so this is the official scorer, Megan Hilton. She's over there discussing things. Patrick Meister, the home plate umpire, is also there. She's been handed a score sheet, and she's talking, it looks like, with Daniel Husband and Martin Helmig. And they're going through their rosters looking for numbers. I think this is, I mean, it's kind of ridiculous, but that's what's happening. They did not give us a roster with – the starting lineup had the numbers, and then the lineup card had no reserves listed on it.
Which I've heard conflicting things on whether you're allowed to do that or not. As long as you have a list of players with their jersey number, their player number.
The player numbers and passes were on the other list, but there were no jersey numbers. Yeah. That was the thing. So
different teams do it different ways. Yeah. Communicate it different ways. Some guys like to write it all down on the lineup card, but this is just seems like an uncomfortable situation here. I feel bad for the scorer who has to keep asking again and again, and the umpires have to be a part of that too.
Right, and I mean, frankly, you know, just put the uniform numbers on the lineup card so that we don't have to do this and have a delay in the 9th inning of a ball game.
Yeah, I always try to make it easy as possible for these people who are working to make a game day possible here. They do a lot of hard work. It's not easy scoring with all the intricacies that they have in German baseball and what you have to write down for each inning and each play.
So now Ryan Bollinger and Martin Helmig were discussing something. Patrick Meister has a smile on his face, but the 3 umpires are converged. You know, I wonder if they're saying that there's some players that aren't on the list or something. I have no idea what the situation here is, but Bollinger is discussing things with Meister and Hartl.
I'm being told that Quidano de Leon is not on the roster.
Well, he's on there.
I'm getting through the grapevine.
He's on their website.
I'm being told he's not on a roster that was given to the scorer, which means I'll leave that up to the experts at home. Maybe
I have a copy of that same list, so let's see. He's not on the first one.
Maybe be on the second team.
There were 3 pages that were given to us. That I think is, let's see, we're looking, listen to us read images from my phone. He's not on this one.
He pitched against Hoonstetten, so, I mean, maybe if they didn't challenge it, it wouldn't have been a problem.
He's not on any of the rosters that I have here. That is correct.
We're going to get a word from Patrick Meister here.
Yeah. As a protest, we're officially lodging a protest. That's what's happening. So the Disciples are protesting the game. That's what's happening. And that's
a way to come in hot for Ryan Bollinger. He's the manager for about 15 minutes, and he launches a protest.
Yeah,
that's going to be interesting. We'll see how that gets sorted out. That won't be sorted out till after the game. I think if you really want to protest it, you have to.
Yeah. So
I think if it doesn't get upheld, you have to pay a fine or something like that. But that'll be interesting to get sorted out. Like I said, we're not going to know about that.
Yeah, I mean, his name is definitely not on any lists that we have. There's a pitch that is a strike. So at the moment, he's possibly a ghost pitcher.
We don't need more ghosts and zombies around here.
No more zombie runners, no ghost pitchers. Boy, it's getting weird these days. Nick Michelli, by the way, is the very real hitter at the plate. And he took a ball and a strike, 1 ball and 1 strike.
So if that protest does get upheld, we would be playing from this point, bottom of the 9th.
Somewhere, someday. Sort of like the George Brett Pine Tar game. There's a strike on the outside corner, 1 and 2,
which was upheld, right? He won the
that
appeal
one.
On that. It was ruled a home run.
I think they overruled the call on the field.
Yeah.
1-2 pitch to Michelli, hit on the ground up the middle, fielded by Schmidt behind the bag, throws to first, 1 away.
Nice play by Schmidt there.
Not all 5-0 games are equal, and this one has had its fair share of intrigue.
Yeah, controversy, certainly.
So there's 1 away here in the 9th inning as the ghost pitcher Joe Cadano de Leon, if that is his real name. Maybe we have a witness protection program going on. There's somebody on a spy out on the mound. There's a strike to Callum Murphy.
Looks a lot like the guy I saw pitching in Stuttgart in 2021, I believe.
Yeah, I've seen him
who
too.
Had
He's very good.
Excellent year, yeah.
And the pitch is low, 1 ball and 1 strike. Somebody saying Ryan Bollinger was a ghost major leaguer. That's true. He was on the Yankees for a day and then got replaced by Lance Lynn.
He was called up twice to the big leagues.
Yep.
But did not get into the game.
He did sit in the bullpen with Aroldis Chapman. We talked about it. The pitch is outside, 2-1. Yeah, all sorts of interesting storylines here today. We have a ghost pitcher. There's a strike in the inside corner. You know, when you play video game baseball and there's sometimes those pitchers that come in with superpowers and they can make the ball disappear or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe we have something like that going on. In case you're wondering, a protest means that a team is declaring that the rules have been improperly enforced.
Yeah, and you can't you have to protest it on a rule. You can't protest games on judgment
You can't just
calls.
be like, oh, you messed it up. It has to be like this rule is not correctly being applied.
Yes.
And by the way, there's no such that doesn't exist in the MLB anymore. In MLB, not the MLB. In MLB, in Major League Baseball, you can't protest anymore.
Okay.
That's strike 3 on the outside corner. And Murphy is out number 2, and we are down to the final out. Joe Rosenthal will step up to the plate.
Just off the top of my head, the last protested game that got upheld that I saw in MLB was because of a rain delay. There was a small stipulation in the rules that if there's a problem with the tarp, then you have to wait more time, and they called the game while there was a problem with the tarp. The tarp malfunctioned, and the protest was upheld, and they had to replay the game.
I was going to say I have never seen a protest get upheld.
It's rare.
There's a good curveball to Rosenthal, 0-1.
Protests are rare, even rarer to get upheld.
Wasn't there in the finale in 2018 or 2018, Heidenheim and Bonn? There was a protest, I think, of game 4 or 5.
Something
one of
to do
those.
with the field, right?
I don't remember. I can't remember off the top of my head what it was, but I do remember it was not overturned. Count is 1-1 on Rosenthal. Now it's 1-2.
So we may be back here sometime to finish off this or replay the bottom of the 9th here, Tim.
Later tonight.
Could be.
Go, take a quick shower.
I don't know.
Have some dinner.
I have no idea how quick. I have no idea how quick they are with sorting these things out. I can imagine it's not
It's not going to be soon.
A quick thing.
No.
But I think you have 24 hours to rescind it, and then if you want to go ahead with the protest, it goes ahead after 24 hours.
Yeah.
Because it does happen where you protest during the game, and then after the game you say, actually, we want to reconsider, and it's no harm, no foul kind of thing.
Well, we should also just remind people that the real star of today's game has been Jan Tomek anyway.
Yes.
Despite all of the ancillary goings-on.
Yeah.
That pitch is low for a full count. Rosenthal trying to extend this and give Nate Thomas a chance.
Yeah, Tomac just came out right from pitch 1, was able to command all his pitches, moving the ball around, pitching inside, hitting the corners, keeping guys off balance.
And that is strike 3 called, and this one is in the books.
Maybe.
Maybe. Perfectly chosen words by Alex Tufts. This one is in my book right now, right here, and we will see if anything changes. My guess is it will not. So, final score, Regensburg 5, Haar nothing. Excellent pitching by Jan Tomek. Very good, gutsy performance by Stephen Norell. He will take the hard luck loss. But Tomek was absolutely brilliant, and the Disciples could do nothing against him. Final score, Regensburg 5 runs, 9 hits, no errors. And Haar nothing, no runs, 2 hits, 1 error. You know, Regensburg, they stranded 15 runners in this game.
They had a lot of opportunities, just
and
couldn't get that
3.
big hit. They're going to need to get some big hits down the, further on in the season if they want to be a contender in this league. But lineup looks really good. I think they need Martin Helmig's figuring out the best combination of defense and lineup to get things going. Looks like they're going to have a great season. If they get starting pitching performances like Jan Tomek today, they're going to have a really great season, I think.
Yeah, they go to 4-0. The Disciples drop to 0-6 as the hard luck continues. But it was still a well-fought ball game, an entertaining one for us to watch and for the fans here. So we hope you enjoyed listening to it.
Yeah, thanks to those who engaged in the comments there.
Yep. Thanks to you, Alex, for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
You want to come next weekend, too, against Mainz?
Stuttgart, isn't it? Sunday.
I thought it was whatever.
Doubleheader against Stuttgart.
You know what? I don't know. I don't even know what day it is right now. Hey, folks, thank you so much for tuning in, and we really appreciate you. So next Sunday against Stuttgart, you are correct. Starting at noon, I'll be with you, and perhaps
I'll likely be there too.
Excellent.
If I get invited back.
You are invited back. It's
Thank
official.
you very much.
Thanks very much, folks, for tuning in. Final score again: the Guggenberger Regensburg Legionnaire 5, the Heart Disciples nothing. This has been Heart Disciples Baseball, brought to you by the good people of the Brauerei Wildbräu.